nobody stays in their lane.
My wife goes to a hairdresser, 300 Marathon, and she runs runs to Goffstown, 18 miles round trip. And she says she counts the number of drivers who are driving just like this. And she says crazy. It's crazy how many they are.
We passed by a guy, had a mirror, and he was trimming his.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not here.
Okay, yeah, small world.
Yeah, so she ran to work today, she did my hair. I was like, you're crazy.
I was like, yeah, I know, huh?
She said, it's not so bad once you get out of Ware, Goffstown has sidewalks.
We passed by one guy, had a mirror, and he trimming his nose. On the interstate. I'm like,
I know, right? I don't have my gavel.
You need to take control.
I gotta
We're
say-
talking about nose hair.
There we go. There's the gavel, my knuckles. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting of the Ware Board of Selectmen, February 26, 2024. We started at 6:30 with the police chief for non-public discussion about an officer, and it gets us to 6:45. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, public comment.
Disappointed. Richard, but a little disappointed in the board's actions at the deliberative session and not supporting an amendment to the police cruiser article. I don't know why. Questions are asked, something about upfront risk, and we discussed it and decided not to do it. When did you discuss this particular amendment?
Regarding
The
Taking it-
amendment for the police cruiser?
taking it
It
from,
was stated by a question by the member of the public asked, what was the board's opinion? And Selectman Matthews said, we had discussed it and decided not to do it. So when, did you discuss it prior to the meeting, or
I think that had to do with whether or not we used unassigned fund balance.
specific to
Versus-
that
Yeah,
article?
and we generally talked about what we were going to use the unassigned fund balance for
Which was,
in the budget discussions, and that was,
appreciate the answer.
yeah.
But at the deliberative session, you had 6.39% in the unreserved fund balance. 6.39%. And you couldn't take $46,000 and approve that as part of the amendment? You had, and the amended article brought it down by a percentage point. You still were over 6%. Yeah, I also get the sense that because it was an amendment from the public, you weren't going to support it. Forget about the merits. The $46,000 is kind of inconsequential in terms of the amount of money. But the real reason that was amended was to get the Finance Committee to reconsider their recommendation not to approve that article. And the only way the Finance Committee would reconsider it is if the amendment was, if the article was amended. I've attended just about every deliberative session since we became SB2. And I've been on the Finance Committee. And the power of the Finance Committee is when they don't recommend an article. I can only remember one case, there may be others, but I can only remember one case where the voters went against the recommendation not to approve an article. One case. Because that Finance Committee recommendation was not to recommend to the voters to approve it, it was very, very rare that the voters would vote against it. So the intent was to change the article, get the Finance Committee to reconsider, and they did, and they voted unanimously to support that article, 9-0. I almost consider that a vote against the Board of Selectmen as well. The other thing on the warrant were the two articles associated with the Schmidt property. Very confusing. Very confusing. The lack of leadership by the board to bring the groups together to get this resolved before it appeared on the warrant. You got competing articles on the warrant. Neither one of them seems to be funded. And one instructs the board to immediately go ahead and do something. The one that was put on there by the Conservation Commission, approved by the Board of Selectmen, is unfunded. There was money in there, I believe it was amended at the deliberative session, to move that money out to support a survey. So does the board, if you mind me asking a question, does the board understand what the repercussions are for those two articles? Because it appears to me, whether it's voted for or against, one's approved, one's not approved, nothing's been resolved.
I
Is
don't
that fair
believe
statement?
anything's been resolved.
Huh?
I don't believe anything's been resolved, you're correct.
So no matter how you vote, nothing's gonna happen. Is that right?
The way I understand
I
it,
just-
the way I understand it.
All right, thanks.
Anyone else? Okay. Some time to burn in between, so we'll do the manifest. I'm gonna order the treasurer to sign payroll accounts payables checks dated February 29th, 2024, is including the following manifest. Payroll manifest of $82,087.46 for weekly payroll, accounts payable of $58,213.49, for a total of $140,300.95. The following manifests were previously ordered to be signed at the February 12th meeting of the board. Payroll manifest of $73,267.89 for checks dated 2/22, and an accounts payable manifest of $34,221.95 for checks dated 2/22. Is there a second?
Second,
Moving second, all those in favor?
yes.
Yes. All right, we'll go back to, I guess everybody had a chance to look at some minutes?
We could knock out the thing we did non-public.
Oh, we can do that too.
So
All right.
it's still fresh.
Yeah, well, it's still fresh in the mind. All right,
Who seconded it? I'm sorry.
I did.
Janice did. Yeah, we can do that, it's fine. Anybody in particular want to move it, or? I can move it.
You too?
I can do it. All right, it's called the bank, right, chief?
Yes.
Okay.
Safety bank.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna move that we award Austin McGuire 100 hours of sick leave to come from the sick bank. Is there a second?
Second,
Moving second, all those in favor?
yes.
Yes? That was quick, you were right? All right, chief, is yours quick?
The permit,
Yeah,
yes,
let's do yours.
just ours.
Okay. All right, recognize Chief Moore for license to sell firearms update.
Yes, yeah. So I received, actually it was from alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and explosives agent who went and visited Mr. Tower, who resides in town, and informed him he does not have a permit to sell pistols or revolvers. I hadn't issued one, so I had to look it up. I called state police. The RSA, which governs this, requires the selectmen of the town and chief police to grant the license, so you guys have to approve. I created an application form, which I said to you prior, so you could review. It's very similar to a concealed weapons permit. There are no issues. He's passed a background check, criminal history check. I've approved, just need the board to vote on it and sign his application, then we'll issue the permit. This is out of his residence. His business name, I believe, is Old Man Armory.
Is this catching up? Has he already been doing this, or is this
Oh,
a new
yeah,
activity?
he's been doing this for a while, and when he got inspected from the ATF, they said, you're missing this permit, you need to get this.
So he was unaware of
contacted
it.
the state told him to contact me, and I had to make some inquiries to find out what I was supposed to do.
Anybody else want to see the permit, the application?
Good for 3 years, so he'll do it again in another 3 years.
And it's only got a spot for me to sign it, so if you guys are good with it, just
seen it.
move to have me sign it.
You gonna take care of doing
Sure.
it?
I can do it myself.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that has to be posted on site. But that
Oh, does it?
also- Yeah.
Okay.
If you look at the application, it just says that the business should be carried on in the building designated in the license.
is it?
And then the license
Oh, yeah,
shall be on display.
Is that James
Yep.
Drive?
And so
Irving.
the only thing I
Oh.
thought was there's selectman signature here
Or chief of police.
of the city. No, that's fine, there's another application, there's something that the state sent us.
Oh,
Yeah, me too, I've got those.
And that has to be, he's got a handful of them, and I found him when We had it done years ago when we had someone up on Pine Hill
Yep,
selling them,
all right.
so.
So if
Yeah,
we're
we're gonna
running
type it up
again.
tomorrow, issue one.
Okay.
All right, well, I'm gonna move that we authorize the chair to sign this application for license to sell pistols and revolvers. So is this federal permit number unique to this? If I read this?
There is a number on the actual certificate that we have. I don't know. So what he crossed out is his concealed weapons permit number.
Like, I don't wanna read something that shouldn't be said publicly.
I just said federal permit number.
Yeah, no, that's his
So, like,
concealed
yeah, but
weapons,
can I read that off?
Yeah, sure.
All right, corresponding with federal permit number 6 dash, well,
02?
is this your handwriting?
No, that's his.
02.
Is it
Zero two, maybe a dot, maybe
011?
dash, 011 dash 02 dash 42, 4L
4L.
dash 02614.
There you go.
That's 07? I think,
The license number is on the permit.
Yeah, I like that. All right, is there a second?
did you state his name?
You want
Yeah,
to
there's
say?
another one, like, is there any reason not to?
No, there's no reason not to.
All right, for Michael J. Tower.
Okay,
Second.
moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes. Yes.
Any abstain?
Thank you very much.
I know yours isn't quick. No, I didn't figure it would be. Do we have any short minutes? I don't think we do we?
Most recent ones are shorter than the,
Do you guys get through them, or?
I've got some remarks. Some edits, I guess.
Yeah. You wanna start with the 12th or the 5th? 12th's only three pages.
More minutes,
Yep,
in 2 minutes.
Yeah, just-
right. That's why I said we could probably do the 12th.
Yeah, I've got, okay,
Good.
you ready? Okay, so line 46.
On the 12th.
212?
212, because they're shorter.
Yep. So this one, it's just kind of a clarity thing because, Selectman Matthews was out, but it says that we're,
Oh,
agreeing with her.
yeah.
But and so I would just clarify that. Two things. One, it should be Matthews, and I would just say agreed with Selectman Matthews' remarks of the previous week,
Yeah,
so that it's not like you see absent, and then like, wait a minute.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then she's talking.
Line 46.
Line 46, top of page 2.
So, yeah, Matthews should be Matthews, and then I would just say agreed with Selectman Matthews' remarks of the previous week, rather than agreed with Selectman Matthew.
I'll go with that.
And then the only other thing I had was on line 114,
Yeah,
and Helen should be Helene.
yep. Anybody have anything else?
I will abstain from voting because I was not at the meeting, but on line item 89, minute taker for Parks and Rec is on the website. I'm assuming that's a job posting?
I would guess.
Minute for your position.
Yep.
Yeah, position. Okay, thank you.
Anything else? All right, I'll move that we approve the February 12th meeting minutes as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Moving second, all those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Extensions?
Yes.
Okay. Right on the button, look at that, huh? All right. Gonna, open a public hearing to hear public testimony and comment on changing the disposal fees at the transfer station. Recognize Jason.
Okay, so prices that we pay for demo have gone up, so we need to go up accordingly. So that's reflected here on the changes. $4 increase for wood siding, and a $10 increase for shingles and sheetrock.
Do you mind reading what the new values are for people?
To and from.
$40 to $44 per yard for wood.
Wood siding.
Yep. And 110 to 120 on shingles and sheetrock. Mattresses have also gone up in price to get rid of, so we're looking $16 for the old price and $20 for our new price. Those fall directly in line with chairs and couches and recliners, so those were $10, now they're up to $15. Small change in tires, those are regular passenger car tires, up to $5 from $4. Mr. G's is still charging $5.50. We're still a little bit cheaper than them, but this vendor that we're going to is the cheapest that we have found. So there's nobody who's getting rid of them for cheaper than that. Truck tires, we're paying a lot less. So those are actually going down from 65 to 35. Those are a 22.5 to a 26.5 rim. Larger tires have gone up considerably. I wanted to put a price out there just to offer it as a service. It's $85 to get rid of a large tractor tire or a loader tire or something.
Do they have a maximum on them?
Not that I was told or inquired about. I mean, I don't know how big a tire we're gonna.
I know we got a 988 cat loader tire in one time, and they won't take it.
Yeah. They never said nothing about not taking loader tires.
The new vendor.
Yeah. I'll check into it.
I just
Make sure.
hate to get something that,
Oh, yeah.
there's no gravel pit. I mean, it weighs 6,000 to 8,000 pounds at one time.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
Did you say tires were changing too?
Yeah, that's what he was just saying.
Yeah. Up $1.
Everything's up $1 or more.
When is that gonna take effect?
Each one?
Yes.
Except
what'd
for
you
the
say about truck tires went down, right?
truck tires.
Truck tires went down.
65 to 35.
65, 35. Passenger car tires went from 4 to 5.
And the large tractor tires?
Went up
85.
to 85 from 65. I've had people inquire about getting rid of truck tires. And when I tell them it's that much money, they're like, yeah, no.
No thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking like a good-sized truck, not just a pickup.
Semi, 22 to 24, right?
Yeah.
Fluorescent light bulbs haven't changed. Ballasts have gone up $1, sorry.
From what to what?
$1 to $2, sorry. TVs and electronics, we're going up 5 cents per pound from 20 cents to 25 cents. Air conditioners, dehumidifiers, refrigerators, that cost per unit price is staying the same. Propane tanks, 1 pounders are going up to $2 from $1. Anywhere from 5 pound to 60 pound, it's gonna go up to $3 from $2. We were not getting charged for those as long as the valves worked. And they've gotten rid of that for us, so that's the reason for the increase on most of this propane stuff. 100 pounders are going, staying the same.
They won't pay for 20s anymore, huh?
No. Fire extinguishers going up for $6 from $5. And new battery, it's not a law yet, but they're starting to look into better ways of getting rid of batteries and recycling them. So as of right now, lithium batteries, button cell batteries, other types of batteries that don't include dry cell are gonna be $1 a piece.
From nothing, we're not collecting anything on right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Most of this stuff is through NRA. Most of the searching around that I've done, I haven't been able to find anything cheaper. The air conditioners, that stuff is not through them right now. So that price is
Variable.
variable, but,
About TVs,
It's under electronics, right?
yeah,
It went up 5 cents a pound.
I know that, but we never went through NRA, that's why I was asking.
yeah, we're going through them just based on they're getting contracts that are locked in for so long. And if all these companies around know that they're gonna get business from them, from all the people who are going through them, they're gonna keep their prices lower.
Okay. Yeah, as long as they're getting business, they'll keep it down. Right. Okay. Any other changes?
That's it for me.
Okay.
And how long is the price list good for?
We did one last year. I'd like to get it to a point where we can set these and they're at a good flat line. We don't have to worry about changing them. I know that's what Benji liked to do. We updated them last year because we just got some really good prices, and we dropped the propane tanks because we were getting them for free, but, I think we're gonna let this ride for a year and just see.
Has NRA given you any guarantee on prices? Have they said the price list is good for so long?
No.
No,
They won't.
they won't.
Jason, when does
Today's
it
the
take
estimate,
effect?
you probably could change tomorrow.
Right,
Tomorrow.
that's where I was getting.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So we can't guarantee it because we don't have a guarantee.
Right.
Can you email that list out? I wrote a lot of it down, but I didn't catch all of it.
Do you have a copy?
It's on the town website, but.
Okay.
Oh, it is on the town, okay.
Okay. Any board members have any comments?
No, just check against the NRA once in a while.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ask my brothers about them.
The only thing I'd wanna, you're saying hopefully these get longer and farther apart. But we've been, the price went up on us, what, a few weeks ago? And the town has been eating the difference for
The demo, yeah,
2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
yeah.
So, and part of that was because we didn't have a meeting last week, a holiday, but just something in place to tighten that feedback loop. Just so we're not subsidizing demo.
Yep.
That's, yeah, otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's kind of the point of the revolving fund is, excuse me, track with our costs, so costs go up, our fees go up.
Any bills? Okay. I'll open to the floor. Frank? No, Kyle, Frank, whatever.
Kyle Parker, Old Francistown Road. I'm in favor of the raises. I do construction work in other towns, and I go up to Norton's where there's a scale a lot, and I don't think that on the construction debris, there's enough charge to cover the cost of, the debris, much less who's ever operating the skid steer or the backhoe to crush those trailers down, so I'm in complete favor of what he's proposing.
Mike Campana. The only question I have right now, just to answer, I think Selectman Matthews, it was May of last year was the last price increase. And I guess I'm a little bit at a loss. I don't know why a copy of price increases couldn't have been printed out for tonight. All you folks were, writing down everything. Might have benefited someone like me. Okay, they're on the website, but I think for tonight, like this as, again, the last one. When, things are presented, if there's a possibility of a handout, should be made available.
Noted. Thank you. Anybody else?
I just want to make sure I heard what was said, that you're being charged more for mattresses. Are they separated out when they're deposited wherever they go? You-
There's a fee from where we send them to,
Specifically for the mattress
specifically for mattresses.
in Box Springs?
Yep.
So what, do they pull them out of the trailer or separate? How does that?
I don't know exactly how they do it down there.
Well, I did some research in other towns, and the prices seem to be all over the place. My primary concern, and it's a concern that's been raised to the board before, is the discrepancy between sizes of mattresses and the costs associated with that. So if a twin-size mattress is brought to wherever they go, we're charged $20 for that,
It's the same price.
and we're charged $20 for the king?
It's the same price. You get charged per mattress.
And how about the chairs? How about the chairs?
It's per, says on the sheet.
Per
Per
unit.
chair, per stuffed chair.
Couch.
I thought it was just all thrown in, crushed and
Per couch.
pushed down and hauled out and based on weight.
Well, if they catch them, they charge per piece.
Right. Well, the other thing is too, is they probably dump it in a pile and they try and separate the shingles out and the,
Yeah,
so I'm sure that when they see a chair, they're gonna toss that off into another pile too.
all right. So there's really no argument to be made that one person is being charged $20 for a king size and another person being charged for $20 for twin size. That's not us, right? It's a fee established by
It's a flat fee.
flat fee.
Not and Son sent us a letter, said your price per ton on demolition
Do
is
you,
gonna be this.
do you
Jason,
mind just,
yeah.
I
Or
think
if
it's
there's
it's
one
good
over there.
info. I don't wanna
Yeah.
get lost. And you had summarized just sitting there that, yes, we are charging what we are being charged.
Yeah, so Naughton and Son we don't have per se a contract through them. We have a price that we pay per ton for demo. We have a price per mattress. Unfortunately, there's no specifications on whether it's what size mattress it is.
Or a
Just-
chair or whatever.
Just per piece of furniture,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Well, I just want to make sure that, I mean, based on that, it doesn't sound like there should be any confusion as to what we should charge for a mattress, or, so, there should be no confusion there in terms of us getting a return for the cost to the fee associated with it and the cost to dispose of it. So every one of those items, when they're disposed of, should be a break even, right, if we're collecting the money. The only question is, I guess, is in the demo, in estimating that, but in previous years, it appears that the numbers have been pretty good, so I'm assuming the estimating is good. Rather than weighing the shingles and weighing, which we don't have the capability of doing.
It's worked in the past.
Huh?
I said it's always worked in the past.
Okay. So that brings up another concern, and that's the $27,000 you were short in collecting fees. The kind of disturbing. The amount of fees we collected in '23 was $64,165. The cost of disposal for that was $91,999. The difference is $27,834. So and this came up as an issue in October. of last year. So I just want to make sure there's something in place to make sure that we're not going to be losing money. Whatever the issue was, I don't know, does the board know what the issue was? Was it underestimating or illegal dumping at night? Or, I mean, you made a statement and you never followed up. You made a statement in October that there's an issue. We're short 27,000 and appears to be illegal dumping going on at night. Illegal dumping, I don't know if it was at night or not. But there was never a follow-up by the board as to what was the problem and how was it corrected and how we can be assured from this point on that it's not going to happen again.
I mean, we did follow up afterwards, and that conversation's not pertinent to changing the fees. But we did follow up, yes.
Well, what was the follow-up? I mean, to me, it is pertinent to the fees. I mean, if we're not collecting the fees to cover the cost of disposal, then we have an issue, which we did have.
We did.
Yeah, I don't think it's outside of, some of this had to be addressed in non-public, so, you know, I think we're trying to skirt around that. But I
So
think
is it-
it's safe to say that we worked with the DPW director to ensure that that stopped, the loss stopped. And can you confirm that we are flatlining again? Or at least prior to, we're now paying, at least for the last month, we're paying prices higher than we're taking in.
We are, I believe, $1,900 over or under on the demo. But we've got a trailer that's gone out, and the books just haven't caught up. They're always one way or the other, positive or negative. So the trailer's gone out, we've paid whatever, and we don't have all the money onto the spreadsheet.
There's some missing figures right now.
Yeah. Like at the end of the year 2022, I believe it was. 2022, we were $1,061 in the negative, but that was just because of the system we
Timing.
use. Yeah. So it appears that we're
Headed back the right direction.
better. I mean, these last couple weeks notwithstanding, but.
Well, it appears, I mean, there should be something in place that guarantees it, right? I mean, in '21, we collected $78,949 in fees. In '22, we collected $76,357,000 in fees. In '23, we collected $64,000. In my mind, there should be something that would have triggered a red flag pop up and say, whoa. I mean, is this accounted on a yearly basis, a monthly basis, a weekly? And how do you, and the amount of money, the $27,000, was that accumulated over a year, or was it over 2 months or 3 months? Were we good up until month 9 and then something happened? All right, I guess you.
There are a few parts to that, and we are now tracking it weekly, right? And kind of Jason talked about, there is a discrepancy that we know is built into trailers coming in, money coming in, trailers going out rather. But, yeah, it is now being monitored weekly.
I understand that. We've had that issue when I was a selectman. We did put spreadsheets in place to track it. The billing may come in later than obviously the disposal of the items. But there's gotta be a reckoning at some point in time, either 3 months or 6 months, that, yeah, we're on target, and I hope that is something you have in place, that's all. Because at $26,000, guess what? That didn't go into the unreserved fund balance, you took that money out of the budget somewhere to cover that cost. That's taxpayers' money. That's fee-based. Should be a wash. Now I've gotta pay for it because of a lack of control or whatever happened, I don't know. And, you know, if the board's still investigating it and looking into it, fine. But at some point in time, I hope you notify us what you've done and what the problem was. Still don't know what the problem was. And that the problem's been resolved. Thank you.
I mean, I don't know that we can ever publicly say exactly what the problem was, but I think we can say the problem has been resolved to the best of our ability, to the best of our knowledge, and continues to be monitored much more aggressively than it used to be.
I think it's a safe statement.
I don't think we are in a still investigating. I think it was investigated pretty quickly
Now
from
it's
that
just
September
monitor.
timeline you're talking about.
Now just monitor,
Yeah.
just keep following up on it. So, Tom?
Tom Clow, 125 Concord Stage Road. I just have a question. I know over the years you've talked about getting a scale many times. What are you talking about for money for a scale? Is it like $50,000, $100,000, $20,000?
Probably over 100.
Yeah, it's,
About 100,000.
About
The
100,000.
scale's 80 and then whatever site work needs to be done.
Okay, thank you.
anybody else? Okay. Close the public hearing. 21 passed. And I'll make a motion that we accept the fees as presented by DPW Director Fisk for the transfer station.
I'll second it.
Moving second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
Effective tomorrow.
Yep, effective 2/27. Brings us to Jason, DPW update.
Okay. Start off with some good news. Our truck that got voted on last year was received from the dealer. It's now at the upfitter in their line to get the body, get the plows, get that going. Still, more than likely won't see service until next winter. River Road Bridge, I reached out to Tom when we last spoke over at Jacobs. He got back to me, and as of now, he's got a proposal. He's waiting for somebody in his office to re-review it, and then he's gonna get the final copy shipped out to me. As far as the weight rating, until the new bridge comes along, probably steal this from Naomi's report later, but the subcommittee, everybody's got their proposals for engineering, gonna meet on the 5th. So that's moving right along, and 3 days after that, me and Naomi are gonna meet with DOT to kind of keep that process going, keep the communication there. So that's that for the bridge. Hiring. We've got an ad for a truck driver out on Indeed and ad for a mechanic out on Indeed. Had a lot of interest from people without commercial licenses. We don't have time to train people right now who don't have licenses. If we can't hire somebody that we can put in a truck and go plow, I just don't think it's a good thing for us to do. Now, if we were gonna hire somebody, send them out to training, town was gonna foot that bill. Somebody can go to school, That would be a lot better for us as far as that goes, because we just don't have the people and the time. Like, it's known that we have somebody who's used to be a teacher at a CDL school. It would be great if we had 3 or 4 more employees, because we hire somebody without a license, we're taking our trainer out and that new employee. Just a lot of time and manpower that we can't really sacrifice at the moment. I've spoken to a couple towns around. One of them has had decent luck with it. He's made them sign a document that says they'll stay and work for a couple years.
This is going to the class.
Yeah. It's really just to keep the honest people there, I suppose. It's something along the lines of they'll reimburse the town the $5,000 it costs if they leave before the 1 year, 2 year mark, whatever it may be. I'd like to explore that option. I think if we get the right person in and get their license, I think it would be a good idea. It's a professional school. They go out, they do it. I think it'll be a lot better to have somebody in a classroom setting to learn if they're setting out to do that.
Did that training center come to them, or do they have to go to them?
They have to go to them.
But individuals actually.
Let's go take his test from there, or how did that work?
So I signed the town up through Federal Motor Carrier as a private training center. Then somebody can take an online test, show that test to the DMV, take the test at DMV, get a learner's permit, and then you getting a stadia out and doing the test kind of deal. I don't think that would be too big an issue if we had the staffing.
Right. I just couldn't remember that part, and would they have to log X amount of hours, or when your
You
guy
got it.
thinks that he's ready? Was there,
Yeah.
there's a guy that had it 20 years and let it go and came in
Yeah,
with your trainer?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it has to be so much classroom and so much.
Yeah, and I had one guy who was interested who had dropped his CDL, and it was within 2 years, and DV said he could go take the test and get it back, but that fell through.
I just didn't know if your guy had to spend X amount, no matter.
Yeah, to get around the whole thing that the feds pass now, you have to have all those boxes checked, and
Yeah.
there is.
You have to have
No matter what, you knew you were gonna lose your guy this many hours every time.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to have a certified training room, you have to have the certified teacher, be registered to meet it actually meets the qualification.
Which he should.
And then whoever is teaching it can only teach up to their level of license.
Yeah.
Right, it's hoops to jump through.
I
So,
don't know when they're gonna learn that
this
this isn't working.
they just crippled the industry even harder than it already is, so.
Well, that's all I wanna know, if you knew, that no matter, every person you brought in, you lost your other employee for 200 hours, and
Yeah.
that's no good.
Goffstown does it, but their DPW is just so big compared to ours. They have the time and help to do it.
But I don't think they can, that's
Can
just
they
an
do
example,
ours?
they can't do ours because we're not the same
No,
municipality,
no.
right?
Their center is their training center.
Yeah.
They can train in-house.
Right.
Yeah, we'll fall under mutual aid.
Wish it would, yeah.
I think that's somewhere we're gonna have to look. I certainly think it's worth looking into how to sign a legal contract, ask other towns, I'm sure maybe, I don't know, police chief would have any input. I mean, I know they do that with officers in some towns, and
Yep.
make sure that we at least keep our investment for a minute.
So what's the break even on how many, so, right now you said you can't spare our in-house trainer, makes sense, but how many employees, like if we, paid $5,000 for 3 or 4 guys, do you then have enough that the trainer makes sense again? Is there a number? Yeah, and that's what I'm. Is this $5,000? Oh, yeah. Well, basically to backfill him, before you can start sparing.
You'd be okay with starting to
Three,
think about
four, be good.
Out of 6.
One of them's a mechanic position. I'm having a hard time finding a heavy-duty mechanic with a CDL.
Welcome to the club.
I know I didn't have one. I didn't want one.
No.
Because I didn't want to drive them, but here I am.
Here you are anyways.
So I guess ignorantly, like, do we need a mechanic with a CDL?
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, you can't road test one without a license.
Yeah.
Can't do anything with it
Then at
outside
that
the yard.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so, and the prices are fairly straight across the board.
He hasn't flexed.
We don't have a training line. We need to come up with a legal document. I just want to get the go-ahead from you guys before I move forward with any of this.
Well, I guess before I get too carried away, I guess I'd want to find out if we could make a legal binding document.
Right.
I mean, again, for Jay's sake, to be able to try and retain somebody for
3 years after your training.
18 months, 24 months, whatever it ended up being decided, is it actually a legal?
Police departments do it, 'cause I wouldn't know why a DPW couldn't, but.
I don't see like we need it, but
Yeah, I know that happens in private industry a lot. You pay for training, you have to either stay for a certain amount of time or you pay it back when you leave.
I thought the state did it, DOT, did they,
I don't know if I haven't followed them. No, all I know is they're still
a
short
couple of
too.
years ago,
What training really is, I always said,
I think we'd have to, if we're gonna require, I think we gotta pay it.
I think
Yeah, so
we'd
it's
have
not
to-
just 5,000.
Right, it's 5,000 plus employee
Right.
wages.
see, that's where I'd have,
Had this discussion when the last batch of, the firemen had the state police come down before that rule went into effect, and I asked the trooper, I says, this is gonna cripple towns. I says, we've got 5 here right now, and if you put, and at the time I didn't know what the number was gonna be, but even $5,000 a head, that's $25,000. How are the municipalities gonna swing this? And at the time, they hadn't come up with type thing, but he was even shaking his head going, I don't know, this is all new to us too, so, yeah.
I guess, we'll just, I think that's the direction we need to move, but we probably ought to have some numbers.
Yeah.
It kills me, I guess, to pay them while they're doing it, but I don't know if you get them other ways.
Well, we could try it without it and see if we get any takers.
I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I mean,
'cause
we could
if
try.
if they're trying, if they're gonna commit their days to going to the class during the
Right.
days, I mean, it's a lot to ask, I think, of somebody. So, just my thought. But I think we need to get, if we can hold them, if we can, some kind of a contractual hold, then we consider it. Make a different number, maybe.
Figure that wage line in on the payback.
Yeah, exactly, oh, yeah. Or at least split it or something, come up with a number, yeah.
I guess going back a little bit, you quoted a couple prices, 5,000 for B
So-
or
so-
BA or 10 to A,
Yep.
and like, what do we need?
So we need a CDLB with air brake, and that's it. So it stayed the same, that the instructor we're talking about, Corey Patton, right? Yeah, his structure stayed the same for the last year and a half.
And what if they don't make it?
Huh?
What if they don't make it?
Pick it back up again.
Yeah, but we're paying wages for them to do that. That's not all right.
Right.
That's just parts I have questions thinking out loud. I think we're gonna have to go that
I think
direction.
we're gonna have our hand for it.
They pay attention. I mean, unless they've eased up on the pre-trip, that's not easy,
No.
you know.
No.
I guess if you can get us a few of those answers, I'm on board with moving forward to looking at it. But
So how does the bus train the people that are getting seated?
They have an in-house trainer there as well. They've appointed somebody already.
Okay, so they're paying them too.
I believe so. That's my company's plans the same way, is to pay them to go to class.
I mean, I'm kinda hoping if all the pay increases go through, that we might attract people from other municipalities and state workers maybe, 'cause we'll be up there very competitive then.
Yes, I agree.
Who knows till that time comes, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, I mean,
Dirt season's kicking off here soon, so.
Dirt and paving season.
the gentleman who's the trainer, mainly, I mean, one of the gentlemen who's got a lot of greater experience, that'll be another position down. I know of one other person who's leaving. So,
You're gonna lose 2 people.
6 spots that's gonna turn into 8 in all reality.
Operator, right?
Yeah, he's also been our excavator operator for
Yeah.
10 years, whatever it is. So, I mean, we're having a lot of the old
Leaving.
retiring,
Retirement.
unfortunately, so we really gotta in the department as far as records and trying to get people who are qualified, training, a lot of knowledge. It's just not gonna be there every single day like it used to be. So can we make a document?
Yep, I would say it.
Okay,
It's binding.
What the estimated cost of payroll would be.
how long,
Or maybe DOT's got something. May have already put something in place,
It's possible.
state.
Somebody that,
alright. An hour,
Yeah, that's what it
Assume to
boils
have
back to, is
$5,000
pay.
up front, or
I guess, but I don't have any better answers. Maybe the chief's got ideas.
We don't do them.
No?
Austin does them, police
Yeah.
department.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't do a contract.
Okay. Any other questions for Jay?
In mud season, they're gonna be on us soon. I mean, they're gonna post roads.
we're gonna have an awful warm spell this week. Looks-
8th or 10th spring, when are you gonna post it?
Yeah, it looks like we might get a little bit cold. I know one town on the border of us just posted today.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah, it's gonna be really soon. I'm not exactly sure yet. We're gonna be out tomorrow with the rake and the grader and
See what you can do.
everything else, trying to clean up. I was gonna make a Facebook post and just throw it out there, let everybody know mud season's coming.
I think I'm gonna do them Friday.
It's gonna be probably before the end of this month or very early next month.
Okay.
I'd like to give at least a week or so notice on the website. Completely off, but.
Right. Okay. Anything? Okay. Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay. Next is Frank for a budget line in the PD for cruiser discussion.
Thanks, Frank Campana. I hate to have to be up here, but going in the police department budget, and in that vein, when I do public comment, the board typically doesn't respond. So I figure, being on the agenda, you can respond. I want to read, I've done this in the past, definition of a capital expenditure. Funds expended for additions or improvements to plant or equipment. Operative word. So my first thing is I'd like to poll each member to, that a police cruiser is a capital improvement.
I do.
Where do you want to start?
And you can poll them however you want.
Sherry?
Yes.
Salem?
Yes.
I don't think it's an equipment.
Ben?
Yes.
Janice?
I think it also depends on life cycle.
Well, what a cop-out, okay?
Okay.
If it's the end of the life cycle and you want to replace it, are you replacing?
Yeah.
Okay. So you view it as a capital expenditure.
You can have your opinion, I can have mine.
Okay. So, do you folks support a cruiser that belongs in a budget?
You want me to poll?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Salem?
In the budget, I've gone back and forth on this, right?
Well, again,
now-
you,
Yeah, I'd
Okay.
say, on the spot, no.
on the spot, no. Okay?
Yes. Ben?
Today, no, but
Janice?
And your question was, could you repeat it, please?
Do you support that well, first again, it was, do you consider it capital expenditure
Yeah,
by
we've answered that
definition?
one.
Which you don't.
What was your second question? I'm sorry.
And the
Frank.
second question, do you support that a cruiser belongs in a budget? And a cruiser being defined as equipment?
Well, there's different kinds of budgets for different things. Everything that we spend money on is a budget. So yes, a cruiser needs to be in a budget.
Okay. So then let me ask you this. When the highway department requests a truck, then you subscribe that that should be in a budget?
Everything we spend money on is in some kind of budget.
Well,
Everything.
That's not true, because there's special warrant articles, and I've been up here in the past. Okay, very, very things around. This is a budget, okay? Warrant articles for trucks and equipment.
That is an
are not
operating
in here.
budget, yes.
Okay. Okay, what I did is, I went to the minutes of, this is all centered around January 8th of this year. And I went through the minutes of that meeting, and there were, the minutes of January 8th only reflect Chief Moore's response to my public comment. Okay? I made public comment, and it was to request the board consider eliminating that line as a budget, and that's all he responded to. This is page 5. I can read it if you want. First of all, he was critical of for not going, for circumventing him, all right, to ask the question and coming directly to you. His procedural suggestion, watching the public comment, if anyone has a public comment in the department, you could inquire, the board could inquire if they have had conversation with the department head and what the response. Just go over that with the department head. Well, I don't want a department head telling me who I should go to ask questions. I can do as I please, all right? Okay, so that's all. That's all that was recorded in the minutes out of, I think, 9 pages. There was no recorded minutes related to the Board of Selectmen discussing, which you did. It was at approximately 57, 58 minutes is where it started. In fact, when I had my wife get to me the first time, a few days ago, that was one of the meetings where there was no video, just sound, which is, voices were easily distinguishable. I went on it again, video, but that's just aside. So there were no, and there was certainly a lot of discussion at the board level in regards to that, but not one word was mentioned. I would suggest maybe that the board go on to the YouTube of January 8th and look at that, and for there to be no mention in the minutes. Selectman Bloom, this is my best, being critical about the funding of that line. You would ask, and I have mentioned at times, what if, and this was, the police chief was up here, so you were speaking with him, about $1 in the budget. What if you put $1 in the budget? Like I say, it was just too confusing for me to try to transcribe it. Again, not being critical, but you were confused at the time, all right? So again, no reflection on you, but the way it was discussed. Selectman Bloom asked the police chief, if you remove that line, what are the implications? The police chief answered, none. Selectman Bloom said, let's do it. Police Chief Moore, I'm fine with that. Doesn't matter to him. Asked one more time, for clarification, my word, zero impact to the budget if the line is removed. Police Chief Moore, can be removed, problem. And I think, it came from him, it was a little hard to tell, that, next year. So, I guess probably Selectman Hippler, the line Chief Moore, in its budget, and then he corrects himself to the work. So I would like to ask the board, when was the first time that any member, certainly some of the long-term selectmen, that you were handed a budget and you knew it was a working budget as opposed to a proposed budget? Now, when I say working budget, I hold these up again, all right, when you get them. To ask each member, you were aware that budgets handed to you were working budgets.
Sherry?
When they were handed to me.
All work, because we finalize them, so
We
they're working
finalize
until
them.
we decide that they become the ones that we are proposing to the town. So,
They were, yeah.
yeah, until we sign what we are proposing, they are a working budget as far as.
Okay. Okay,
I would use working and proposed as synonyms, myself.
okay.
Ben?
Well, I guess to answer the question would be this year, because I've been on the board, I was confused about it for a minute, just because some people use different terms, I never called it a working budget, but it is the same, I guess, as the budget
Proposed.
Okay,
proposed, I guess, right? So-
Janice?
okay.
So until we actually finalize the proposed budget, everything else is a draft or working.
Okay. So again, when I have, going back to 2019, actually, 2020 budget. Let me, let's see. Another, Police Chief Moore, he was looking for a warrant article. Police Chief Matthew, let's see, Selectman Matthews confirmed not a new line. If it was not a new line, that doesn't sound quite right to me again, but best I can transcribe. Police Chief Moore said the line has always been there since he has been here. Well, I'm not sure that that's true, because if you want to say that these are working budgets, or if you want to say they're proposed budgets, all right, use the term that best suits you folks, okay? But I have a whole stack of budgets here, whether you want to call them, and everyone is, most everyone is headed a proposed budget. There's no use of the word working, all right? So I have here 6 years' worth of budgets. All right, in 2019, for the 2020 budget, there was a vehicle management line, which I'm guessing, I'll give consideration that it was for a vehicle. Didn't say that specifically. But that was for 2020, and it was removed. 2021, there was no evidence of a cruiser line. 22, no evidence of not even evidence, there's no cruiser line. 2023, no cruiser line. 2024, line 286A is a cruiser line, all right? In fact, when you were talking about that line, police chief didn't even know what line it was. Somebody had to mention it, which is okay too. There's a lot of things I don't know either. And then the other comment, again, these are things that, I don't say they should have been recorded in the minutes word for word, but again, there was nothing about the discussion in the minutes. So there was this clumsy attempt of being here. Police Chief Moore made a comment, one of the few departments that a car is not in the budget. Said it considered, well, I think we've been buying trucks at a yearly request for several years. So, I still don't understand why there's a confusion between, it's not a CI, the road cruiser is not a capital improvements request, and why in the budget.
And I think that statement was contrasted with not other departments in the town of Ware, but other police departments.
It was, yeah. One of the few departments, I said, one of the few departments, meaning the town of Ware.
But my recollection of that discussion was he was not referring to other departments in the town, but one of the
No.
few police departments, at least.
That's what I understood it
That's
to
the
be
way I
as well.
understand it.
What's that?
That's the way I understand it.
Well, then one of the few departments that a car not in the budget. Right, but again, the department refused, he stated, all right, that it's, surrounding areas. All right, he may want to correct me on that, and actually confirm it. But the YouTube is there, nothing is in the minutes, and I guess the saga is going to continue by his words.
Can I add something that might be helpful?
Please.
Just because I learned as part of this whole process, do you mind if I
No, it's fine.
discuss this? And somebody stop me if I say something wrong here, but it's dictated by the state of New Hampshire, and we don't make these up. So they tell us these are lines that can exist, including what you said, 246A?
286.
86.
And so those are numbers that come from the state, and if we put something in them, And once we've signed it, it becomes a proposed budget, then it would show up like on what we're proposing to the town to,
Right.
you know, do something with a deliberative or vote on it, you know, second session, whatever. But there are, I would presume, thousands of lines, and we only use 640, we'll call it, you know. But, so what I'm getting at is, like, it is my understanding that nobody for this purpose.
That, again, in the comment, he said that, referring to a proposal, these lines are assigned by the state and are unfunded, even if the board,
Yeah.
you know. So I do get that. I do understand that. But again, is that, I mean, I could go back quite a number of years, and a police car, a cruiser, like other town capital improvements, have always been in the, not the budget, but in a separate warrant article. And I think some of the long-term selectmen can attest to that.
And just to clarify, Frank, that is what happened this year as well, correct?
What's that?
We
That
pulled the
is
line.
what happens.
Well,
It was a separate warrant article. It did go through the capital improvement process, and we did remove that line because you brought it to our attention.
I don't believe that's the case. And I beg to differ very strongly. That's not the case. Okay? Because he went to the CIP committee. He went through that process.
That's what I just said.
That's right. But you said you removed the line from the budget.
The line had no dollars in it. You brought it to our attention that it was there. We asked the chief if it would be okay to take it off of the working budget, and he said absolutely. And we did remove it
Because he was
off the
going
working
through the
budget.
CIP process, not the budget process. He had already gone, and you had already had your CIP presentation.
Right.
I don't know
Which
if you
the
were
cruiser
sit-
was part
sit-
of.
That's right.
You brought it to our attention that there was 286A line item in there that
Okay.
had $0, and you were concerned about that being there.
Okay.
We addressed your concern by saying, can we remove it off of the working budget copy?
Okay.
And we did that.
Okay, so what I did is, all right, couple of, not two, what's today, six working days ago. I don't know, I wrote down working budget only because you guys are, you know, insistent that it's a working budget, okay?
Well, but at this point,
And
it's
No,
then-
at
not.
this point, it's a proposed.
Yeah, at this point, like,
We've approved it
Yeah,
already.
we
Okay.
proposed it, it had hit deliberative, it was
We
unable
voted
to
on
get
it.
deliberative, and
I get that, So anyway, the 6 working days ago, that line, 286A, police cruiser and upfit, is still in the budget. That's why I asked for the most recent printout of the police department budget. So it's still in there.
Is there a dollar sign in that, Frank?
No, it's unfunded. It's unfunded, but the line is there. And there's going to be a mechanism to get it funded. Selectman Knapp understand. And to be sure, Selectman Knapp, I would not be able to explain it to you. Not because of you, but because of my understanding. So that's all I have, and we'll have a new board.
Well, I want to make a comment on the minutes.
Sure.
Okay, because this board has gone back and forth about minutes. And at this point in time, the board's consensus was that we are going to not do them as verbatim. Have long, and it's too much. It's not what we want for minutes. We want a good synopsis of what occurred with the high points, but it's not gonna be verbatim. It's not gonna be every word everybody said. And that's,
Sorry.
you know, you called it out and said that your statement wasn't in there, but his was.
in his defense,
No,
we made the
no.
decision after January 8th meeting.
That every word of the comment should be recorded. There was nothing mentioned, not one word out of, I don't know how many minutes it was.
But where does it stop? Does it stop with our conversation?
You know, a transcriber might, and I'm not being critical of the transcriber, but a transcriber might say that the Board of Selectmen had this discussion on Campana's, you know, on that line of the cruiser. And again, what I had here, I know he's ready to jump on me, and I give a damn, put it that way. I hate to use that word even in public. But Selectman Bloom, you know, it wasn't done as a motion. You know, questioned about, is that a lot of verbatim, Selectman Hippler?
That's not where I was going with this, Frank.
Okay. You're putting words into my mouth.
I'm not, you just told us, literally 5 minutes ago,
Yeah.
that you said, my comment didn't make it in there. Speaking to yourself, my comment didn't make it in there, but everybody else's did. And that's what my point is that we're not going to, the board has moved to do more of a synopsis rather than transcribe.
Okay.
We also have on the agenda today to approve those minutes.
Yeah, and I approved it.
So if there's, yeah,
I'll give the chief a short chance
I
to
get
rebut.
to respond. I got about 3
Yeah.
pages. January 8th, 2024, Frank Campana, 322 Quaker Street, said to the 2024 budget. It was irrelevant because it had already been through the CIP process. I didn't need the line. However, we're now in the 2025 budget. No legal opinion, RSAs, publication, policy, anything like that. You present just opinion, correct?
Chairman,
Yes,
I resent the fact that he's looking at me
Well,
as he's
I'm
speaking.
addressing you. Do you have any of
You
this
can address it to the
documentation?
board
Okay.
and to the public, okay?
So that would be a no. Thank you.
I think it was being threatened.
He's made 3 public comments on the topic, conversations with various department heads on the topic, all which resulted in his being provided a response that his assertion could not occur. Those conversations were the town administrator, the finance director, and the chief of police indirectly through my comments, which he read from January 8th, 2024. RSA is on the matter because they're not hard, a minimal effort. RSA 32.4, estimate expenditures and revenues, and I'm going to summarize. All department heads shall prepare statements of estimated expenditures and revenues for the ensuing fiscal year and shall submit such statements to their respective government bodies at times and in such detail as the governing body may require. RSA 32.5, budget preparation. All purposes and amounts of appropriations to be included in the budget shall be disclosed or discussed at the final hearing, which is why I discussed at that hearing. This is here. I put increases I hit so I can adjust in New Hampshire default budgets and how they work. And on page time, new budget line items cannot be added to default budgets. And I input that there to default budgets because they're not part of the appropriations contained in the previous year's operating budget. Vehicle to the budget is to add it to the proposed budget, which passes the town vote. And I had to count up the number of inquiries I've had regarding any police topics, even though there are here and a lot of math, but been here 4.5 years, I'd have 0 conversations.
Is there a line funded or unfunded in the 2024 proposed budget for police?
Unfunded.
But there is a line.
Yes, there will always be. I'm on my 2025 discussion since I've been here. It should be in the,
I think
in
that's
the,
the topic of this whole, is if there's a line there,
Yep.
$0 or not, or not.
yep,
right.
And so, not removing it.
We did.
in the 2024.
There is, you know, relevant this year. I think that between the highway and police, if they ever went to vote and could prove that you're gonna get a truck and a car every year and got voted yes, that it would be a good thing to be put in the budget someday, because manpower. However, I thought it was. You got up and said that $1 gets put in that line.
If a what?
If $1 ever gets put in
And
that
there's
line.
not currently.
Right.
but it
But
does.
with that line, if $1 gets put in there, and
But that's-
in that,
So we're also getting into
Chief,
philosophy.
Chief, let him finish, please.
Okay,
Let him
well, I
finish.
didn't get to finish.
it's not, no, I'll let you, I apologize, I'm trying to talk my way through this. But it's not philosophy, because I've seen it with smaller items. If $1 gets put in there and the department head is really good and saves 86 grand in the bottom line of their budget, they can purchase a vehicle out of that. Legally, without voting. That is a topic of this, and I think we got put on the spot because that line is in there, and I feel a little,
The budget works. When there was an inquiry made to the finance director last week, and a copy of that worksheet was presented, the finance director asked, well, there's a bunch of unfunded lines. Do you want those also? No, just the police department. There's bias going on. Why, I don't know, but there is. So from Transparent New Hampshire, which is the state government-wide website, the budget is often mistaken for an expenditure plan. It is, however, a plan to meet the public's needs and priorities. I have conversations with the public many times. They want to ensure that the police can respond to their calls for service. That requires, with the population we have, with the turnover we have in cars, one vehicle a year, which is why it needs to go in the budget. If we were Dunbarton, we would not be discussing this. A proposed working budget is a tool for me to use the police department in an effective and efficient manner as I attempt to deliver professional law enforcement services to the residents and visitors of Ware. Our department serves a population approaching 10,000 full-time residents, and based on my experience and training, a vehicle is needed annually to maintain police operations and provide for the safety of residents, visitors, and employees. As such, I continue to propose adding it to the budget through the budgetary process, as many towns surrounding us already have a vehicle in the budget. In December, I did not oppose removing it from the 2024 proposed working budget, as incorporating the topic in this year's budget had passed its timeline for being included. It's now a projected expense for my 2025 budget. This budgetary process is guided by RSA's participation in review and recommendation process by the CIP Committee, the Finance Committee, and the Board of Selectmen. Those efforts are then followed up with the residents' ability to deliberate proposed warrant articles or budgets and cast their vote. Mr. Campanis takes on the position of a dictator, as he does not want, as he does the attempt by Mr. Campanis to circumvent these processes should be universally denied.
So I guess, can you clarify, because I think I heard it one way, and we started talking about the other way. It is not in 24, but it is in 25.
Correct, and it'll be 26 and 27. My objective is to, and this is why I couldn't get it last year, I'm trying to create a warrant article to go to the voters, essentially, shall the vehicle be placed in the budget without actually putting the amount in the budget. Its own independent review, I haven't figured that out yet. I'm trying to look for an example warrant article to that, and that's where I'm at.
and I don't disagree with that, that's where I was getting with that and the plow truck. I don't disagree with that, if you can draft something up, I never could figure it out either, that's why I
Yeah.
didn't do it either.
That's why I keep putting it in.
If it's unfunded and it said they didn't wanna be there, we should have probably not. That's the whole topic, it's in there and it wasn't wanna be in there, I think that's what the whole.
It's a placeholder to remind me to set my priorities for the town needs based on what I understand them to be.
I think, though,
2025.
that Benji's comment isn't related to what you did. It's related to the and was not reflected in the documentation.
That's not my
right.
documentation.
That was his comment, I believe.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, it was, we should have followed through a little differently, I
'Cause
guess.
we removed
decide
it
if
from
we wanted
24.
to have it, because we thought it was, but it technically isn't.
Yeah, and my proposed working budget, I read, plain and simple.
I guess I go back to thinking the one that I had, right, when we rented a mower, it was 12 grand, 13 grand or whatever, and then when I bought a mower, I didn't eliminate the line, I moved it to $1, so if the mower blew up, I still could take that 13,000 to go over here, that's a thing if the line's still in there, but, I don't know what to make for a comment about discrepancy just against your department. I guess I've been there with residents too. so
I will
don't
be
know.
more than happy to draft a policy, which I will sign, saying the police department will not add any funding to that line without it being approved by the voters. That's simple.
I was gonna make something similar in comment. My personal opinion is that if we were to change from going to a CIP to anything, not just a police car, it would be something that would go at a minimum to a public hearing. I mean, instead of going to the voters even.
Correct. Yeah, and I can draft that. You guys are worried about, well, what happens if the next chief? I can draft it. It'll be in policy, so it's there for whatever chief.
And I expect department heads to go and perform long-term planning. And,
Part of the job.
yeah, and I also want to, the public understands that you and heads have gone forward and got grants. Donated
$0.
$0 impact to the taxpayer. Should be recognized as well.
What I will say is, and I understand the frustration level, I'll say, but Mr. Campana can do whatever he feels, and he can ask whatever he wants.
Sure.
I understand that you may feel,
It's incorrect and misleading.
Yeah, all citizens have the right to say
Sure,
anything
absolutely.
they want. in
Any-
public
absolutely.
comment.
and inquire in the budget,
Yep.
whichever line they want to inquire.
Absolutely.
So,
Mr. Chairman, is this still my?
it is.
I've stated many times, all right? Without this vehicle in the budget, it does not preclude the fact that as in many years of past history, all right, that the CIP process is there for that specific, again, this specific item. So when he says that I'm a dictator and I don't want people, but wasn't the cruiser on the on the ballot at the deliberative session, and isn't it on the ballot?
Yes.
How did it get there? How did it get there? Did it get there by a budget item, by a budget line, being funded by a budget line, or did it get there through the capital improvement? Don't agree that it's by definition that it's a vehicle. So tell me, how did that vehicle make it on the warrant?
The CIP process.
Is that still available to him?
It always will be,
It always will
as
be.
long as it's CIP process.
That's right. So when he says that I don't want people to vote on it, all right, I'm really offended at that, because I'm the last person that wants to stymie somebody from voting on anything. And the police cruiser is in the budget, and is a separate warrant article through the CIP. You're shaking your head, but you don't agree with it. Okay? So for him to ration me like that, I don't mind, I can take it, all right? But it is there, and that's what it's there for, and that's what it has been there for. Not as a budget item.
Do you mind, can we,
Put it to bed?
talk about the minutes for just real quick? Because I pulled them up. The January 8th,
Right.
Right.
So I think if I understand the time stamp's like about 57, 8 minutes.
well, just,
Okay.
I'm not. And then when we start talking about the budget, then the topic comes up again. Maybe that's where, I don't believe anybody from the public got up to speak again, so I'm kind of skimming it here live, but it looks like your comments are there, they're just not back to back, because you would have spoken during public comment, and then the topic came back up again when we were talking about the budget later on.
Well, boy, I listened to the hard labor, I listened to it twice, once to listen to it, once to confirm it, but I heard no discussion, I'm sorry, about the minutes. I saw nothing, maybe I misunderstood you.
I'm just considering a path where you may have come to that conclusion that, your comments were excluded from the minutes, and I believe it's because, hey, let's talk about that item, and it happened, so it does include your comments on line 23, the very first boilerplate stuff, and then we talk about it again down below. So that just, I'm not saying.
Okay. Go on to the building inspector and inspection rules. Guess I don't exactly remember discussing that.
Clean my file in, have
Yep.
it offered, a couple of pages, you guys have already that, right now, the building inspector is, the gentleman from Goffstown is doing our inspections after hours.
Mhm.
The only thing that he's not doing is, issuing, there's 3 houses, new houses, and those haven't been done, but all the other small permits have been issued and all the inspections are made, which is what you asked me to check on as well.
Okay.
So we asked to put this on their invite file because he's offered, so that's where we were. But I'm just telling you that last week from Goffstown.
Mhm.
So
Alright,
that's,
where we're at.
but we talked about putting it on here, I didn't drink it up.
No, I know we did.
Yeah, and the only thing I've thought about since then is it's strange to me that he said, I don't want to do it.
Right.
He got pulled mutual aid, but then he's okay doing most of it in his spare time. I don't know, it doesn't really sit well with me.
Employer pulled in.
Because it was town,
Well-
municipal and
Right.
municipal and
He's
municipal
75 with a
mutual aid.
with
Right.
Boston.
That's
And
why he got pulled.
After hours, he comes to us and he does it after hours.
Doesn't sit super well with me, where he ran it up his own flagpole in his own town, got them to come smack us, does most of
Which
it
I
anyway.
did ask before we made that, I did ask if that would affect him working for us, and they said no.
Well, I don't know when he came back and started, but a week ago Friday, I had a town resident come to the house, all upset because nobody had gotten back to him since Tuesday morning. And this was Friday late afternoon. Father, and he's upset because they can't do any work on the house because nobody will inspect it. And they're well over 72 hours. And I said, if it's over 72 hours, I believe you can take a photograph of what you've done and go along until you can contact somebody that'll return your message. I believe it's 72 hours if you don't.
No, but I don't think we should be giving advice to people to take pictures and then proceed. I don't think that's the right.
Well,
thing.
nobody's responding to him. They said, he said he called
Well, we
here.
had to wait to hear from him. His wife was ill for 2 days.
He said, well, now we're out almost a week, so. I said, you can talk to another building inspector. He said, I've called everybody. But he said, I called Goffstown, I called New Boston, I called 3 or 4 places. Look,
Well, it's
for some information, I think.
he may be looking for information, but we can't be having and somebody,
Town.
no.
And he called Goffstown, Goffstown refused to come out at that
course,
point.
yeah.
And that was last Friday.
Well, that makes sense, because again, they're not contractually bound or.
The March vote show up, so we can at least get his opinion, but,
I mean,
is there any benefit to switching what we're already doing? I think is the question the big question for me.
my thought is as current at the moment, it sounds like we're under control. And to do something weeks pending the warrant vote, I don't know if it's prudent.
Well, what happens if the vote is no?
Well, either way, we're going to have to hire somebody, and that's going to take
Then
time.
this board, then
Well, that's what I was gonna
Right.
say, I think it's more than 3 weeks, because if it gets voted yes, and then we put things out.
Then
for
you're
a
gonna
month.
put
either way, you're gonna have to hire somebody, that's gonna take time.
But on the flip side of that is, you know, if we do something to, it could be 3 weeks, it could be 3 months, we don't know. Here's a variable,
Right.
right? Where,
He being the, do you think,
I don't
Just
know.
roughly.
This week, he hasn't spent any.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He hasn't spent any.
I'm sorry, last week.
I stayed in touch with everyone when I was gone, and that he did do, and he reviewed and issued all but the three. So as they're calling this week, she's putting them on a schedule, and right now she has 3 days this week to do it. She hasn't filled them all as people call. You can correct me if I'm wrong, we had a conversation and said I would offer to reach out to the group and see if somebody could review plans with us. That's the state building officials.
the State Building Officials Association. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I guess I just, if workload's fine, but if not, then
it sounds,
Except for new homes.
I don't think we are.
yeah, and after hours.
2 good days and we couldn't get there, and they poured and took pictures and said I'm gonna chance it, so.
mm-hmm.
And I'm a little upset that I did ask. We took a vote about the engineered plans and said it didn't matter one way or the other. I asked the question when we were taking a vote, if it was going as no. I do appreciate the help that we're getting, and
I do too.
I think we're 3 months out before we hire somebody.
Oh, potentially,
Yeah.
potentially.
And building's coming, so.
But that's also gonna be a new board come 3 weeks.
What's the harm in running an ad for part-time and then ask if they're interested in full-time? What's the harm? Is there harm in that?
I don't-
mean, we've got an ad,
People
we
would
can
see it
run
that it's part-time and they were only interested.
If the heading is part-time,
Right.
which it theoretically would
Right.
be.
Okay.
I think we're just looking to take up the slack for a month, is all. If there is
I think it's more realistically 3 months.
slack.
I mean, we're still 2 weeks away from a vote,
Right.
so, I think it possibly is a burden on the that they have to wait till after 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening to get them done. And I'm concerned about light on
Yeah,
some of them.
because it isn't
Oh, no.
townspeople.
Yeah,
But that's their project, though.
That's what I mean, that's their
Yeah.
job.
right,
You know what I mean? So no more than you wanna stay after your job till 6 is what I mean.
yeah,
For myself,
right.
so I agree with you.
Yeah, well, I know I spent many a nights at midnight, just like you do.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
so,
but that's
yeah.
not what I mean, though, I mean, if it, I'm agreeing with you to the fact that, you know, the people in their house as much as the contractor that's working, and he's
Right.
gotta stay late to wait,
Right, if they wanna have
is
conversation.
what I meant, but yeah.
But,
No, but it does affect their project.
Yeah,
yeah,
yes,
but it also sounds like our inspections are getting done. Myself.
Well,
and that's
we
why I
need
posted-
someone that will do new home permits. That is absolutely. Yeah, we cannot say we're gonna wait 3 months to give any new home permits.
right.
No. Because they've already probably hired the contractors and stuff, and they're set to go.
Are them just COs or them getting the permits to start building the home?
Oh, no, he's got CO schedule, he's got additions, he's done other things that people have applied for, and new home. In the afternoon after, on his own time here.
Right. We won't sign off on any new homes because of the engineered plans, right?
Because that's in that code that we've adopted.
Right. You're gonna have one unit that has to have certified plan.
Yeah. Not an exception. Yeah,
4,000, I think, was
Yeah, I
the
think so,
cutoff.
yeah.
Family up to
Yeah.
4,000.
yeah.
1 to 2 family, 4,000 square feet.
Well, I'd like to ask Kyle if I can. Would he be available for the next 3 months to do some or all of the work that we just described?
Podium, please.
There.
Oh, yeah, you can ask, he can come up to the podium, we can have a discussion, absolutely.
Okay, to answer the question, yes, I would be willing to do that. I know I heard it's with the other guy. I'm not looking to fix something that's not broken. If it's working, that's great. You know, I was just offering because I buy in town at Country 3, and I've had contractors complaining how the process is working currently. I had a couple of them show up in my driveway, ask me if I could come out and look, just so that there wasn't just a picture. I wasn't going out on the town's, without a town authority on any sort of town authority. This was just strictly a neighbor to neighbor, knowing the contractor, opinion sort of thing. I will tell you that it seems silly to me that you don't just accept the help. I live in town, I know the town, I have the experience, and quite frankly, I'm ready to say, you know what, forget it. My offer's off the table, and you can struggle, because that's where I'm at. It just seems ridiculous that I've offered a couple of times.
Applications or licenses, because it's not, but you have what we.
I had the certification for 12 years. It's not the same as what's required for a plumbing license, which is an actual license. The building official license is a certification.
Okay.
Just a matter of knowing what you're doing and going down and taking the test remotely.
Yep. No, I have no idea what it took, what you need for licenses.
It's a $200 fee to get the ICC certification. I did have it, I let it lapse, so I don't currently have it, but I have 40 years' experience. I have a good college education.
Yep.
I have 20 years' experience working as a building inspector in towns. I've done planning and zoning in towns. I have the qualifications to do it. And I'm not looking to be hired back, because I'm not looking for the job. I'm looking to fill a need.
And you would be able to do that during business hours?
Yes, I can do. I
normal
live
business
right in
hours?
town.
Well, I know you also have other work to do.
Right,
That's
no,
why I'm
but
asking.
most of it's local. Have to wait till after 10, 11 o'clock. And contractors move on. You know, I know that the plans are sitting there waiting, but the contractor doesn't sit waiting for that project. He's gonna move on, and the person who wants to build that house is gonna lose their opportunity. And that's not just, oh, we can get to it in a month. You know, a site guy's gonna book 2 jobs, and it's gonna be the summer. And that person waiting for the home isn't gonna get, they're gonna sit another year. So, that's where it's at with me. You want the help, great. If you don't, I'm gonna walk away from the podium and say, okay, that's fine, but, you know, it's off.
I'd like to make a motion that we have Kyle fill in until we hire somebody, either full-time or part-time.
Can I ask a quick question? Would you oppose to taking that ICC test, a couple $100 and getting it recertified?
No, it's just a matter of you can take it remotely. You don't need the classes the
Yep.
classes is like continuing ed that the nurses have to take.
No, I get you. I'm just
It's
asking if you'd
educational.
mind doing that if we were to decide we wanted your help. That way nobody would question it. You wouldn't mind just taking that test again?
No, because you just sign up for it. I believe you can take it remotely at an office in Concord somewhere,
Okay.
which is where I took it the last time, some little hole-in-the-wall office with 3 computers in
A
it.
testing center.
Yep.
Yes, yep.
Okay.
So Sherry made a motion.
Sorry to cut you off, Sherry.
No, no,
Yeah.
no.
Didn't need to do that.
Sherry's got a motion. Is there a second?
What was the motion?
Yeah, I cut her off before she made the whole thing. You wanna start over? I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I just made a motion to hire Kyle Parker to be the part-time building inspector until we hire somebody.
Here to pay?
What was the rate of pay we were paying the last building inspector?
I don't know.
25?
At $25 an hour?
Is there a second?
Say,
Second.
well, for no more than 30 hours a week to make it consistent with what we did before.
Right.
There's a second. All right, again, my recommendation would be that before you do one inspection, you get that certification back to us anyways.
That's kind of where I was. But
Yeah.
like, since you said you're okay getting it, I would feel more comfortable making it contingent
Absolutely.
on getting a pass, because it sounds like it's not that big an effort.
It's,
Right.
no, it's really not. I mean, I'd have to go online and see.
Right,
Yeah, because that's the question I posed earlier, was like, can we do better than what we have now? And I think if we can get somebody certified who is more available, yes, we can do better. But then if it,
I would agree with that statement.
but then if it turns out, like, if we hired you, but then you could not get the certification, then I feel like we would have stepped backwards. So I would be most comfortable making it contingent on you passing the test.
Yeah, and providing the documentation,
Yeah,
Naomi.
yeah, yeah.
And is that just for inspections, or does that also include review of the plans, the permits? I'm just asking from a work standpoint.
Certification, you can inspect, you can
Yes.
do plans, yeah.
Yeah, it's a full enclosure.
Yeah, you said inspection, so I wanted to know if that
I
included
think
permits.
it's, yeah, it's the
Okay,
whole, it's the
so
whole
it's any
whole
work.
gamut, yeah.
There are towns in the state that don't require any, I mean, Dunbarton didn't require, they didn't want a certified inspector, they didn't care. When I was in Pittsfield, that's where I got the certification, because they wanted it.
Yeah. No, I'd feel better. 100%.
I think with all the chatter and stuff about it, this would take the argument out of, for,
Yeah, and as long as you understand, this may end up, like, if it turns out the testing only happens every 2 weeks or something, and then March vote hits and we get full-time, we put it out, and some just, it could end up only being like a 3-week gig. Like.
No, I understand, and
just wanna
I
make sure
don't
that
have
we're
that
saying it all
answer.
right now, like,
Yeah,
And I think-
I think your point was that, it could be that you do all this work and it's only 3 weeks worth of work once you get done.
No, but
Or it
having the
could end up being 3
certification
months.
re-upped
Yeah,
is,
it could be 3
I
months,
think
could be,
it's not gonna hurt you to have it re-upped.
no.
No, it's only gonna benefit you.
Yeah.
So again, I would, and again, that's exactly it. I mean, it could be 3 weeks, could be 3 months, we don't know.
Yeah.
But I think up until the certification is provided to Naomi, I think we stick to what we have
I
currently.
think that's reasonable.
I think current, and then once Kyle provides the certification's been passed, then
Could
we're,
you, I was gonna, for Kyle's benefit, see what it costs and do what we do with everybody else, is if he passes, we reimburse him.
Reimburse.
I don't see why we couldn't do that.
yeah.
Does that work
Yeah.
for you?
That's,
Yeah.
Out of,
We do that
I guess
for our-
because we have inspector money that we haven't spent, right? Or, no, we're paying Jack out of that inspector line now?
Yeah, but I don't think not every week he's doing 25 hours, so there's
Okay.
probably.
So there's money,
There's a couple
I'm
$100 at
gonna
least.
okay.
so we need to like modify the.
I think we need to modify the motion.
Okay.
We can scrap what you just talked about.
Well, add on.
No,
to it,
add
then.
on
Just
to
add
it, just
on
keep
that.
it, don't line through it.
Contingent on,
Contingent on passing the ICC certification and providing documents to Naomi.
Yeah,
and we will reimburse
and
him.
we'll reimburse him the
Upon the-
$200 for the class.
I'm assuming that's what it is, my wife
Two,
took
We'll
the,
re-
250
reimburse
or
him.
whatever, yeah,
Yeah.
Call it up to,
350,
sure,
Okay.
$350.
yeah.
I don't think it's that much.
Sure, but you show that, like, that's how much we'll.
Yeah, we'll just,
Okay.
yeah.
You show the
If-
receipt and it'll be that.
If it's $299, it's $299
Yeah.
type thing.
I'll second all of that.
Okay, all right, so the motion is to hire Kyle.
Hang on, I have Sherry making a motion, Janice seconded, then we had a discussion,
Oh.
now we go to contingency, what are we doing?
Well, we just,
Have to
Amending.
follow minutes that way.
Yeah. Kyle at 25 an hour, contingent on
Yeah.
getting his ICC cert, and providing you the document,
350.
350 for the certification.
I forgot Janice seconded it, so.
Janice, you still second that even after all
I
the?
do, I second the amendment.
Okay. What's that? Okay. All right, motion on the floor has been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes,
Abstain.
Okay,
Thank you. So we'll be in touch.
all right, thank you.
thank you, Kyle.
You're welcome, good night.
Yep. All right, draft for engineering and legal RFPs.
I put it on this, so I don't, you guys went through all those stacks.
I did not.
I didn't go through it.
I only went through
I
legal.
did.
Yeah, I did not.
I can throw out what I have, just so that it maybe will help you guys in your review, if you want to spend 2 or 3 minutes on that.
Yep.
Regarding the, I like the town of Swansea's best as far as a starting template. I do think it needs some additions. I noted a few things in the background that I would take from Barrington's background. And in the general information, I'd probably beef that up with some written and verbal communication skills. And then in the proposal requirements, there's a good sample in Fremont that I think we could put a couple things in from. And then under the cost proposal, there's a couple in Barrington, number C in Barrington, and I can give you all these, you don't need to write them down. But I think, start with Swansea and then add a few things from Barrington and Fremont in it, and it would be a pretty good draft, I think, to look at.
I had similar feedback. Swansea and Molten Borough are almost identical. Like almost copy pasted.
Yeah, I just like the one from Swansea better. It was a starting point than Milton Borough, but I do agree they're very similar.
And then I had similar feedback on pulling from Fremont. I like the background, talking about like how the town operates, so like, I don't wanna read this whole thing.
Like demographics
But like the
almost.
town operates with a 3-member board of selectmen who meet weekly, are very, very involved in town's operations. Seen by the town administrator, like laying out.
How it would work.
And splitting out, like, being explicit about the town departments, being explicit about, like, is the only one that talked about, like, being at deliberative special town meetings.
Do a little link in there too.
And then I agreed with what Janice said on really a lot of these. I thought Fremont had interesting, like the payment, it had interesting information that the other ones didn't have, like payment. You will submit an invoice monthly. I think that's kind of,
Right.
that's good stuff to include, really items.
Yeah, and conflict of interest and,
Yeah, it's roughly agreeing, some different specifics. I had Molten Borough as number 1, but they are almost identical, so. Yeah, taking Swansea and adding, something like 9 through 17 out of Fremont.
okay,
Making sure not like copy paste, but making sure that information is included. And
I
only
can
looked
make
at-
you a copy of this before I leave tonight, if that helps.
So there,
I can make you a copy of this with my notes on it before I leave tonight for you, if that helps.
there's 2 of these, the rest of them are gonna be the same, is that what you mean?
Well, I didn't know if you wanted to kind of get a start on a draft.
Okay.
I don't know what the plan was, so instead of you, thought it might be beneficial just to make a copy for you. That was my offer anyway, trying to be helpful.
And if you make up, maybe just get scanned and just sent to us. type
Oh,
thing.
sure, that's even better idea.
You keep, who's to scan it?
I can do it from here, right? Or I can do it at home,
Do you know scan
I do.
Yeah. I think, and then it sounds like you've already got kind of some notes on it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah. So that's not a bad idea.
okay. All right,
And that was for the legal, obviously.
yeah. And on the engineering firms, I started with the town of Chester. Who did you start with?
Since I had not done engineering yet.
Okay. All right.
When I saw today's agenda, we're not getting off of it.
Yeah, we're starting with the town of Chester, under the scope of services, they have a lot of things listed. I think there were a couple more that maybe we might want to consider. And two of them, I'm not sure if they actually belong here or not. Ask, would a town engineer interface with the forester or with the NHDES regarding permits? Would that be something that we would?
NHDES, I believe so.
Okay,
Forester, maybe not.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's two different.
All right. So I thought that might be something, since we know we're gonna go through a PBN possible update, that we might wanna have in the list of things for them to do. So, I can scan all this to you as well.
Yep.
And in the term, they have for all municipal appointments by requirement of the RSA. I think maybe we should take out appointment, because that sounds like it's actually an employee or someone, and this is an independent contractor.
Where's this again? What page?
Term, page number
Scott Gibbons.
4.
Oh, okay, yep.
Yeah, so that sounds like, it doesn't sound like it's contract work when you have that. And then, under selection process, just be very explicit that we may not be awarded to lowest bidder. We reserve the right to negotiate terms and conditions.
Right.
And then on that one, I would actually take out the acceptance by town for town engineering acceptance page, because if we do negotiate anything, you'd want that to be in the contract, not the RFP. So
Right.
take that page out. And then I'm assuming this liability insurance was just an example of what they would send in. So I can scan all those to you too.
Okay. That works. Okay.
You only had three really to pick from, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chester,
Yeah, and I don't,
Guilford.
by the planning board, or do they have any input?
Last time, the planning board hired them,
Okay.
and that hasn't really changed. I don't think,
'Cause I want to make sure we've covered all their concerns before we go out to RFP.
and I don't know with the DPW, with the bridge is kind of going at things separately, is what you're thinking?
Well, just from a general standpoint, there might be other road work that they consult with, or subdivision, roads or driveways, or,
It certainly don't want the planning boards,
right,
We,
DPW would be more in
yeah.
that line, right?
you know.
They utilize them a lot of times when they have a plan before them and they have someone that wants to do, and there's a big drainage sit with a big cut and fill. They have gone to the town engineer, and the contractor or owner pays for that review. And what it is just verifying that what is shown on the plan is going to work and capture the water, et cetera.
Yeah.
So that's really the only thing they
Right.
do, is inform the applicant that they're going to have another review, but it's at their expense.
Right, but would that review be part of what we asked them to do, even though we're not
Yeah,
paying
yeah,
for it?
but
And
I
is that
just-
part of the
I don't think they
RFP?
get involved in this part, I think we do. Is that what you mean?
No, just the scope of work that we would be asking them to do. Just from a scope of work standpoint. Because they could say, no, you didn't contract us for that, so it's now 2X what,
Right.
yeah. I'm sure they wouldn't do that, but they could.
Okay. So I guess we'll wait for the
Scan.
scans and go from there. Another meeting, okay? All right, minutes, good times.
We're gonna start with January, going backwards, or what are we doing?
We're gonna start with January 8th. I just knew that the 12th was kinda short, that's,
Yeah, no.
just to fill the time. 110, 18, 18, there you are, right there.
Oh, no, I can't get on tonight for some reason. This thing says. it's-
I'm on the Wi-Fi, I'm not.
But I'm just saying this, but it has the welcome to wear sign on it, and I don't know much. It says excellent, but it's not showing the room on us. But it's still ticking off and says excellent connection.
And we're up there, so I think we're
I
good.
don't wanna touch anything and use it.
Okay. All right, so, all right, well, let's go with the lines, because it's like 9 pages, so, anybody got anything on lines? I'm sure.
This is the 8th.
8.
I didn't see anything, I skimmed it today.
Okay.
I'm gonna jump around a little bit. Line 320, Neil
Yep,
Kirk.
Yep.
Kirk. His last name is not complete.
and then? Anything else? Nah, she's looking.
This is regarding Ray Banks in public comment, I believe.
Line?
This is line starting on 50. The other is given the Recreation Fund $25,000 to go to council. I believe he did say that. My question is not to do with the minutes per se, but that was a true thing that we actually did. Do we
No, I
care
don't-
about that, or we just care that he said it? I believe we
it's-
just care that he said it.
It's a representation, he said it.
Right,
So-
okay. I wanted to make sure that was the case.
Yep.
That's all I remember, but I reviewed these a long time ago, so.
Okay. To approve as amended. Just moving second, and all those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Move to the 15th.
Have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines.
Okay, good.
Line 114 says, it should be Ms. Davis.
Okay. Of Buxton School Road. Okay,
And then line 409, 410.
good jump.
Yeah.
On what for?
Page 8,
Uh,
so take the of out.
Right, he was talking about approving budget stuff, not approving of or not approving. I then have 425, Everett is misspelled,
Yes.
and then 432, Quaker is misspelled. Cypre, you shouldn't have hyphen. 516 through 520, the Cypre should not have a hyphen. That's it.
Anybody else?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
107,
Yep.
Mr. Flaherty of Sunrise Lane asked if the insurances are locked, or if can they estimate they could change. I believe that's, or if they could, if, I think they can and an or whatever change.
Yeah, that would work.
He's shaking his head with an R. Okay.
Okay.
114, you've already caught Miss Buxton as Miss Davis.
Yep.
131, approve the $3 an hour step 1 percentage increase. I believe there's something missing in between. Probably get, you're correct, I assume. 176, this TA because she's contacted, I believe that's contracted.
Yes.
And 2 articles that did not include fit, and I believe that should have been fire.
Yes.
And then
1.
instead of on.
Oh, okay. Didn't catch that one.
Okay.
Vice Chair Knapp said he would like to see an increase into amount because they hired full-time chief, and if the chief would not take the position, they must hire someone else. I think it should be in the amount, 230, in the. And lines 235 to 236. Bloom said he does not want to hear from the public, but would set the stage. Board of Fire Wards voted to, or to dissolve the town, agreed to the obligations. That just sounds really, really choppy. I don't know. I know sometimes we talk and we say things and they don't come out as complete sentences, but I can't follow the pattern there.
I mean, I can hear myself saying that haltingly. I do want to hear from the public, but to set the stage, the Board of Fire Wards voted to, or asked the town to. The town agreed to
Okay,
the-
so we're just missing some commas then.
Yeah, probably. The last bit, though, the town agreed to the
To watch YouTube.
I think agreed to the obligations, maybe. Yeah,
Did Board of
the town
Fire Wards
agreed.
take those out? Or,
Does want to hear from the public, but to set the stage, comma, the Board of Fire Wards voted to,
And ask the town to,
voted to ask the town to dissolve the Board of Fire Wards. The town agreed, and the obligations will defer.
okay? I can comprehend that, thank you. And I probably hacked it up when I said it, so I apologize for that, Kirsten. Line item 251, there should be a dollar sign in front of pay, 6682. And 273, I think 24, was a 24/7,
What line again?
273.
That's why I couldn't find it. Yeah.
7, I believe toward the end of that line, make, should be make up. Yeah. And line 320, last line, pit, should be put.
Okay.
And 422 is missing some numbers, and I'm not sure if that's just the way that we said it, or if that is, there's $19,000 missing from that discussion. So the warrant article was 81,690, and we only, the 16 and the 46, not the 19. So again, I'm not sure if that's how we said it, or if we,
And Everett spelled wrong as well.
yeah, we caught that earlier.
Oh, I thought that was another one. Oh, yeah, 423
425.
and 5.
Oh, okay,
It's both spelled wrong.
okay. So again, I'm just asking, do we need to worry about the 19K statement not being there?
The special revenue fund. Wasn't 19 coming from the detail?
Yeah,
Yeah, the detail fund.
yeah. And I'm not sure if that's how we said it, or if it was just omitted, so,
It's not
Just a
that long.
question.
I would just ask, do you make the edits? Can you just check it, the video?
and then, line 450, approximately $284, I believe that's $284,000.
Yes. That would be the state to only give us $285.
Yeah, we wish we could only spend $285 on roads and everything would be
Beautiful.
done with that, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How's that working out, Ben? Good?
Yeah.
So,
499, Purington said she thinks the letter needs to be read instead of needs the letter. And 506, the front of talking, I believe should be R-A-R-E. That was line 506.
Okay. That's it?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else? Move to approve the January 15th meeting minutes as amended.
With the clarification that we're gonna look at the video regarding
Yes.
the statement on the $19,000 related to the police cruiser.
Sounds good to me.
Second.
Moving seconded, all those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, 22nd.
I don't have anything.
What's that?
I don't have anything.
Janice?
22nd. I don't have those printed, I must have missed those. So I have
One
not
that didn't have
reviewed
a
them. Okay.
Timeline-wise, yeah. To approve the 22nd as written.
Second.
Moving seconded, all those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. 29th.
I have nothing. We should look good.
7.
Yep.
I think there's a missing period under adequate. After adequate,
I show one there.
there is one?
I
Okay.
show one there, yeah.
All right. And on line 58, you read the town council email into record, but we didn't state what that,
Oh, regarding, so read the town council, email from town council regarding the Bank Schmid property. Does that sound right?
that's what it
Into
looks like
record.
it was too, yeah.
Yeah, into the record.
Okay. And then line 161, push forward or remove. By should be but the
Yep.
petition article must stay.
Have anything else?
No,
Have anything else?
no, not from me.
Move to approve the January 29th meeting minutes as amended.
Yes.
Second?
Oh, second, I'm sorry.
We'll have a game.
That one.
Yeah. All right, moving second, all those in favor?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
All right, and then,
I was saying there, and I would just add on to the end of it, I guess verbatim what I said, to do anything.
Say- could you- I'm sorry.
you feel,
Do anything stupid like that.
okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, the section 152 to 156.
152,
We
yeah.
took an action there that's not reflected in the minutes. There was an action for me to send a list, as I was looking for to Naomi. I do think our minutes, even though we're abbreviating them, do need to capture actions and things like that. So if we could add that in, that would be wonderful.
At the end? Or
Yeah.
Well, at the end, Boy Scouts, so you had to put it before that.
Before that, yeah.
So,
I had the action to provide you with the list of the things I was looking for. That's my request. The lease agreements related to town-owned property and buildings.
No, that was it?
Yes.
25?
No.
Okay, move to approve as amended with the, list that I inserted.
Second.
Moving second, all those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, look at that. Finally got all that.
okay,
Yeah. You only have to approve.
Eh, 2 more. Who's counting? Bless you.
Just went over the, DPW, the River Road Bridge, as you mentioned, we're getting together on Tuesday, March 5th, from 4:30 to 6:30, to narrow down the 7 companies to 3. My question to, would you guys narrow down the 3, is this board's responsibility to interview? I know
I believe it would
it's
be.
getting tight. Do you want suggested dates? What I'm saying is, we're gonna have new board members. So, I'm just saying, by the time we get to the 5th, we're gonna have, the hope is, at that point, do we reach out and give them a date, a separate night? What are you thinking?
You mean a
Like in the
special
race, but I
meeting?
think it'd be a special meeting at a separate night.
Exactly, I guess, let me ask
You're
you
welcome.
further, the current board, or are you gonna wait for the new board, or what are you doing?
I think we could give them a date, what's the hurt?
Well, March 12th is what hurts.
Before March 11th
Change the
or,
board, you don't change. Right,
After the 5th,
right.
as a board of 5 right here,
Unless you make a special meeting.
unless you make a special meeting.
I think it should be before.
I think it should be
That's a
before too.
lot to pick
Th-
up.
There's a lot of information that's been tossed. Probably ought to,
Yeah.
So that
decide.
week, you wanna,
You're talking the week of March 5th?
Yes.
yeah, I think the 6th.
Okay.
or maybe the residents can give back if they haven't notes.
And
yeah.
share them.
That'd be good.
Okay. Really need to follow up with the DPW director on, just to sit down non-public. I know we talked about demo and where we are. Just suggesting that maybe we do it, maybe we don't.
Okay.
Suggestion to Jason was he thinks we should.
Okay.
It's been a very time.
I'm good with that.
As was expressed earlier, there is some non-public portion to it,
Mhm.
and let's, just schedule it. But
Maybe we,
swampy with 2 meetings, do we wait?
well, what I'm thinking is maybe we that first proposal at 7 o'clock.
Oh, with your interviews?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Jason will be here anyway that night.
Jason will be here already, so
Yeah.
kinda makes sense to combine those two, give it a half hour and start
And the other
here
thing
at
I'd just
7.
like to ask you, would you object to the 3 residents sitting in the back of the room while we interview them as well, the next level? Do you care?
I think that would be great.
I think that'd be great, cause I think we
Yeah.
should get some of their input after, after the interviews.
That's something we can talk about on the
Yeah.
5th. I just wanted to be able to
Yeah.
offer that.
We did get some feedback from a resident about the transfer station process last go around. I think we should do it non-public,
I agree.
but coming out of there, we should,
Yeah, and we
about the
can
process.
probably say that on the 5th and. Okay. Right.
Exactly.
It's more, it's
There's
exactly
probably-
follow-up.
If it
Hopefully a lot that
Some
we can
information,
say.
yeah.
So 6:30 for that, and then 7 we can schedule.
Yep, I think that would work.
All right, police department, the chief sent me an email, and I believe he's correct, it was while I was gone, had to do with the, we heard on the tower project, and the question was from the Army Corps of Engineer, and the question was, he's reaching out to see if we wish to continue a real estate agreement for the, to confirm their cost. Have said no, and then the chief was correct, I recall it this way, thanks for gonna be needed after this year, since it's currently for a repeater, which one would be needed for the upgrade, after the upgrade is complete, I'll confirm. Did you know, is Everett Dam, because we're putting the new tower up, and I thought that was gonna solve it versus repeater.
So my recollection from this is the fact that the plan was to put up the 3 sites. But in the heat map that we received, the Everett Clough area was still shaded. My,
Because there's no cost to the town for this.
my thought would be renew it, leave it, for the sole fact of, once this goes online, that if we find that it's,
Still doesn't-
that the heat map did not reflect some real cold spots, that maybe we put something in that facility. I'd hate to give it up
Yep, fair
prematurely.
enough, yep.
You know, once we figure, hey, you know,
So
if,
the paperwork can be extended.
if in 3 to 4 years they find out it doesn't work, cut it off and thanks.
Okay.
You
So
know, but
extend it for one more.
I would for one more. That's just my own personal feeling, because the heat map didn't look great in that area. It looked okay.
Starting at the new tower sometime this spring.
Okay, yeah, I would,
Go ahead,
if
Randy.
there's no cost, I would just renew it.
Yeah.
That's my own personal feeling.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, the power and everything like that, it's just gonna be throw some equipment in there if we have.
Chief on that one.
Okay,
Parks and Rec, I believe we're still, the minute taker ad is still being run. And I will talk to Jason, there's been an inquiry about the boat ramp,
okay.
and, part of it was to do it while the drawdown was there.
Yep.
And I was asked the expiration for the permit that we currently have is March 31st of 2027.
Yes, by then, yeah.
I'll have to see, knowing that he's shorthanded, I just need to talk to him about that, to see.
A plan.
Plan A.
Draw down this boat ramp for 5 years.
I know.
The problem, I mean, the other thing is, I think part of the fix, and you.
We were gonna try and pave it.
We were gonna try to pave it, but no paving plant's open for the water picks back up.
Right, that's where it always has been.
So is it cement? Is cement more expensive?
Oh, it's much more expensive, but
Okay.
there's everything else in there. I think, what, you put some 3-inch riprap in there, didn't you? Something
Well,
like
down
that?
where the boat wash was, but
Yeah, it was,
the
Decent,
pavement
but-
could have very easily been fixed, but other entities got involved and over-engineered it, and here we are still talking about the same problem, but
Well, let me, because on April
Well, you're
17th
right
of
about now.
23, he came in with a plan, but then things got sideways when we lost solid health.
mhm.
So I guess we need to maybe revisit that, but.
Just see where,
the permit
get a
is still
plan.
good for
Till
us.
27, yeah. So we get a couple more years to talk
we were
about.
gonna,
You're right.
There was the great. See if it's still.
it always revolves around the same thing, the lake being down and then the hot top plants ain't open
Has
there.
anybody
Right.
checked to see if there's a grant
That's
available?
where that's where I'm at, like, see if that one's either still up, or if it's like
Yeah.
an annual thing we can get.
Yeah.
The only thing is, again, by the time that the grant is in wheels in
There was a
motion,
lot of money.
are the asphalt plants open, which I don't think they are.
The
I
grant
think
wouldn't,
that's the biggest part, if you're gonna, because the asphalt plant.
Are closed.
the grant wouldn't cover a 1-ton load of hot top, I think they'd wanna redo the whole thing probably.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's where, I think that's what when we were exploring, that's what we found.
Right.
They want a complete restructure. Okay,
So I guess we'll see where we can go, because I have been asked about that on Parks and Rec. Conservation Commission, the asbestos remediation removal, the RFP has been posted on the website. And in the construction summary, pre-bid inspection is gonna be on the office, and they're gonna, go over on-site, and then the bids would be open April 10th of 24 that evening, and there's already been 2 people interested. I'm not sure where they picked up the ad, but there's been 2. Us not from New Hampshire, so, probably construction summary. The Felch Farm timber rebid, 4 bids were received and opened publicly at 2:14. I don't know if you guys watched that, Benji was here to watch it. I think they conducted it exactly what you asked for them to conduct. It was opened, read aloud, each one of the votes, but a motion was made for the contract to sign, of which I tried to get him tonight, realizing that we didn't meet last week. I didn't ask him before it said, and I guess I'm too late. I just wanted to know if I misunderstood you, or I thought you had asked that when they do this, that everybody else has to come here with a recommendation, and then you people award it. And then at that time, you can have them sign the contract, just like Chief Moore does with his grants.
I think it
But it-
depends upon which fund it's coming out of.
But there is no fund, we're getting money for the timber cut.
yeah.
We're
Yeah.
getting money for the
Yeah.
timber cut. The bids went from 60,000 to 97,000. That was the the bidder was $97,000.
Ridiculous
But-
amounts of money paid for.
But
But I thought I understood the same things Brent might say so long ago. I thought it was they were gonna bring a recommendation and we were either gonna tell them to award
which
it or
is
have
truly
us.
my attempt, being, I didn't ask him, and that's why I reached out to him on Sunday saying, hey, could you come in tonight, so that we weren't gonna skip a beat,
Mhm.
and then we all got the email. I just wanted to make sure, because it does say recommendation in the minute.
Does.
I thought it was to work. If I misunderstood, my apologies, but I don't think I misunderstood, because we make Jason come in, we have the chief come in, we do public hearings, and we do everything.
Hmm.
So the recommendation word was used. I know you can issue, I know you can do it, you can award them to sign it, we've done it before.
Right.
I just feel that, I just tried, because I had forgotten him, to try to get him in tonight, and then on Sunday when I get back, and it blew up in my face, so. If that's how we wanna go, we'll proceed on, I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, so at 12:11, according to those meeting minutes, wasn't there. Ben moved to let the Conservation Commission go back out to bid for the Felch Farm. Conservation will review the scope of work, and the bids will be open in public session either at the Conservation Commission meeting or at a Board of Selectmen meeting. Janice, 8:14.
8:14 was when we all had the whole, we had both
Right.
commissions here, we had both,
Yeah, we had
conservation
joint
and
meeting,
everything
yep.
was here.
Yeah. I think that was kind of the intention, was to come back to this board and chat about it. I do believe.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Which is too bad to hold the contractor up
Oh.
for that. That makes me a little bit angry with him because just being in the business, he's paying a fortune for the wood and he probably wants to get there for the mill slam the door shut.
Right.
Yeah, or
Right.
before it gets too
And-
soft.
Signed, and he's,
It's already there.
I don't know, is in the contract, we're looking for a $5,000 bond, we're looking for some insurance, I haven't seen any of that, I don't know holding that. Know that,
Should be the town's town.
but I'm not looking to hold him up, I'm just wanting.
Well, me either. I
The
just
only
wish he'd
reason
have
I
said
reached
sure and
out
brought it
Because
in.
I felt that I had missed him, and I knew we were meeting today, because we didn't meet last month. Just say, hey, can we, move along, not skip a beat.
Road this weekend, assuming that's manure for the fields that.
Say that again?
We still have a lease on?
Right. Well, I think manure, I believe, I didn't follow the trucks, I just know the routine was getting hauled to East Road for the hay fields this weekend.
Well, they might be going out to Brown's, because he does,
No, they weren't.
okay.
I know
mean,
somebody was trucking.
Yeah.
So, and only, I guess I don't know, I didn't follow them, they could have been, but
I know he does those fields too, he does.
I know it was asked if the road could be plowed out to the pit so the manure could be dumped, so.
Yeah.
My point is we asked about that too, getting a lease and proof of insurance, and is it gonna go out to bid because it's commodity, and
Yeah, it's,
here we are starting a new hay season, and if something happens and that person's invested money hauling stuff out, then we haven't dotted our i's, crossed our t's with that either.
right. And that
And
was,
last year it got put to bed, like, well, this year's over, let's wait till next year,
Yeah.
now,
and now here we are.
Here we
starting
are.
all over again with the same argument. So I don't
I
know
guess you could call
how to
him
handle it with them, but,
and see if, where it actually ended up.
I'll take a quick.
Regardless of where it ended up, we still gotta get some kind of a document on file for that parcel.
Right,
Right, wrong, or indifferent, there has to be
Yeah,
some
at
kind,
least.
something on file.
yeah.
Proof.
I guess,
Something.
yeah, I could take a ride and see if that's where it really went, but I just, and if so.
Well, it doesn't matter if it went there or not, we don't have a lease agreement.
Right,
On that piece of parcel,
Right.
regardless.
Right.
Whether it was dumped on it last weekend,
That
this
may-
weekend, 2
that
weeks,
may- Would spurred the thought, but it doesn't matter if it went there or not.
right. It's
We
still,
need the lease
we need a
agreement.
lease agreement of some kind.
well, it ought to go to bid.
I'm not saying not.
That's not, yeah, I gotta say, that's a discussion that definitely needs to happen.
That may be the mechanism to get the lease
But before there's
agreement.
any activity on it, we need some kind of document,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Is that something you're asking me to change?
Yeah.
We leave off on that. I mean, I remember discussions that we were having in deliberative where,
I guess email and ask if they've gotten just been using.
Conservation Commission, if they're going to do it, if not, do they
Yeah,
need any
there
help?
you go, yeah.
Yeah.
If they plan on it, if
I
they
mean,
plan on sending it out to bid.
Well, regardless of if it gets bid or not, whoever's working the property, we need a certificate of liability.
Yeah,
As
we
a
need
town.
some insurance.
We need some insurance regardless of who gets it. Again, I mean, I need to have some kind of a lease payment, whatever you want to
And
call
even if
it.
they come back and say that it's doing a due payment, well, it still needs to go on.
still need
needs
to
be
have a
lease agreement
certificate of
that documents
liability.
that, yeah.
You know, it's a, somebody else working on town property that's not a town employee.
Yeah, and to be clear, my statement be getting documentation of what the
Exactly.
Will display them. This is the contract the voting on the 12th. RFPs, just as on there, because those are what we're gonna consider. A couple of them. BOS, I don't know if you have any correspondence. I'll just move on, you can leave the correspondence till the other. Work session items I have on the 3-4 agenda is to talk about the solid waste. We set that back before I left. The cemetery sexton, obviously no answer. RFP, she's going to reach out to the Mildred Hall Committee and to pull them for a potential meeting date of either 3/6, 3/20, or 3/27, and that's for that $2,500 to get that gentleman to start his mapping project, if they will fund that, so that once the snow is completely melted, I haven't been by the cemeteries, but.
So the purpose of the meeting is to see if they'll fund it?
Yes, because
Okay.
that was a recommendation.
Right, I
We
remember
had
we
our
talked about
budgets
that,
and
yeah.
we talked about it.
Okay.
But there hasn't been any requests, as Betty had explained to me, and they only meet upon request. So now that she has a request, she's gonna meet, or reach out to see when we would meet, and those are the 3 dates that were provided. Under the right to, thank you for replying, so I can finish the first one. I'm still waiting on have got a shared file. For some reason, I can't share it, I can't get it, I don't know, I suggested Dropbox, but it's beyond my head. And I'm gonna ask if they could just, I've got some thumb drives, I'll just give them each one and they can give them to me.
Yep.
You know, I think that's the easiest way. I don't know, Dropbox has always worked for me in the past, they're not familiar with Dropbox, they're not understanding, so I'm gonna try the next service. And the last one with the conservation, Beth has been wouldn't be completed on or before March 8th. Pending litigation, I haven't written this one off yet. I haven't seen any finalized documents about the settlement that was reached for the transfer station. And then, as you're all aware, we have a new one, and Prime handling that suit and has accepted service for that.
For that one, we never talked about how to handle that.
Well, I think when the insurance company accepts service, I don't know, you and I talked about that briefly.
Yeah.
Because Primex is our insurance company, and they've accepted the request for it.
Yeah, and once they accept, it's out of our hands.
So we have no input into it?
We
is
really
that
don't
what
have
you
any
mean?
input, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's taken out of.
Why?
Right.
There's some things we don't.
That whole thing seemed easily avoidable. It's frustrating.
I agree.
The ethics committee, she reached out to me, their forms are online, they're also gonna be providing training, and they're gonna. The suggestion point was that maybe they would come with a new board, but their next meeting is after the action anyway, so it's gonna fall into place. They're gonna do either in training or, they're putting together a PowerPoint with some training.
Okay.
The, board as well as in person. don't know, planning board hasn't met, Parks and Rec, I don't know, Salem, if you wanna do that, or you can do it after, other updates, you guys have had a couple meetings.
I think just one meeting, I think. But, yeah, the most recent meeting, I guess the big thing that came out of it, like I had mentioned at this meeting 2 or 3 weeks ago about ex officio voting, not voting, and that came up at the Parks and Rec meeting, which did bring about a larger discussion on kind of what are the bylaws, what are the, you know, what kind of the founding documents of park. A lot of that is TBD. I believe where we left it was, park is going to try and come up with some bylaws and present them to us. I wasn't prepared to say, like, things like Parks and Rec, but the RSA says something similar to that. And it is the governing body, the selectmen, who would create that. So it's kind of like, how did that come into being for where? And then there's the question of, like, should the ex officio member vote? The RSA says there should be an ex officio if the governing body chooses that. Was that ever actually chosen? Should it be chosen? How many members should it have? You know, who's allowed to vote? All that needs to be hashed out.
Clarified.
Yep, and a little bit out of order, because I had been asked, you know, there are folks that want to join park, and I was asked about a date. I said definitely not today, because we're really busy.
Oh, yeah.
And then it kind of rolled into maybe next week. Then we talked about, you know, the structure, makeup, and all that. So I'm not sure, I'm,
Put like a pause on it.
like, I don't know the best way forward, but I don't know that appointing people when we don't even know how many people to appoint is the best first step.
Like I said,
I
I'll
was
put a
asked
pause
for
on it,
March
I think.
4th.
Yeah.
I understand, it makes perfect sense if you don't know.
Yeah.
You're gonna appoint him as an alternate or a full member, or.
Right, and is it 3 years, and then we find out, oh, we should have, yeah, like, I don't,
Yeah, most boards have people expiring this year, so it's coming up very shortly.
But they've had some vacancies, and I think, so you don't all discuss together, you could appoint someone for 1 or 2 or 3. But I think it has to go back to town meeting, is how we created it, I'm guessing.
so the, says, that the governing body would create a Parks and Rec.
So it
Which, either way. I did write it down.
Yeah, and the other thing, well, if you don't mind, I was asked today, evidently, you guys talked about an agreement and a deed for
The
Chase
Chase
Park
Park one,
to do with,
35B. Okay.
35. Lifeguard, no lifeguard?
Yep.
So evidently, there's a, so, there's an agreement that was executed in 1940 that had 3 requirements in it, and one of them was that a lifeguard would be kept on duty on weekends and holidays during summer vacations. However, the agreement was not actually written into the deed. Needed to have one or not. Now, it's
Yeah.
an old document.
Handwritten document typed,
It's an
yeah.
old agreement, and so the question was asked of me is, could we send it to town council and ask the lifeguard, do we not? The deed doesn't have it, the agreement does. So I'm asking you, is that something you want me to
Well,
send out?
And further, we had talked about, at the park meeting, potentially sending it to Primex first.
Yeah, and it's on here too, it says, and then, same thing, the second question is, if we don't need a lifeguard, and if we have them only on weekends and holidays, can we run that by Primex, because you're gonna have to post lifeguard, swim at your own risk on the days they're not there?
Mhm.
And the only reason we talked about doing it first was because I thought, like, their advice.
Yeah, free is our insurance company, sure, if you want me to go to Primex first. Is
But,
that-
and I think we'll probably have to turn around and go legal counsel, maybe
I-
do
yeah.
them both in parallel, I'm not,
I think probably do them in parallel, I think is probably a prudent idea.
Just send them to both instead of
Yeah.
that, kinda like we did before?
Yeah, I think we should.
Well, I know that you guys are having staff and lifeguards,
Yep.
and you need to know which direction to go.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can do that. Sherry wasn't at the last conservation. I'm gonna move on. Riverdale Road, I did, forward her part of my year end. You guys allowed me the $1,500 to finish the do-so property. They, so the family, I finally. Solar committee, we were gonna wait till we get a new board. And then the other two I haven't done anything with. I think is gonna be coming soon to do our fall inspections. I do have, which was on, and rightfully so, have you guys done anything more with the agreement with Sanssouci on the Eversource? Moving away from town council and going. We sent it last meeting. Look at it. I don't know if you had.
I don't think I have it.
Well, I haven't seen it, so.
It was sent out at the last time when we met, rightfully so, it was the 2022 appraisals of Eversource.
Wasn't that put,
We currently were with, the lawyer being split anytime you
back
saw the
over.
bill. So I would've sent it to you.
Yep, 841 on 12.
Everybody's going with, the Sanssouci is more of an expert from what
Oh,
the
there it is.
explanation I got from the town attorney. Most towns are being asked to go with one of the experts, there's two listed. Most everybody's going with Sanssouci, as you can see from the email, there's a list of people.
Mhm.
But again, whatever you'd like to do.
I-
Whether you-
I asked for more time. I dropped the ball and didn't come back around to it. But I believe we have until April to make a decision.
Okay, they just bugged me again, that's all.
No, and I'm not saying, I'm just saying like, if we're not ready to make one, we should. Right, like,
All right, so can we make sure we do
Yes.
it for the 4th?
It's fine with me.
Do you
Naomi,
need me to email it to everybody again, or no?
can you email it to me, because I don't think I have it.
Okay, it should be in the 12th if you cleaned out emails.
Oh, maybe it'll
On
show up now?
February 12th, it gets
Okay.
sent to everybody.
All right.
well, if it did bounce back,
It's only like,
I mean,
200.
if you need it, I don't mind. Or it's top of your emails.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Thank you.
just for
Email to board, and then I'll put it on for 3/4.
Fine. Yep.
I think I'm done,
Okay,
other than, things on-
Yep.
And then the real entertainment.
the infamous.
Yeah.
Um,
9:40.
Did we, hey, back to the top, do. All right, correspondence, other business.
I didn't bring it, I forgot. I actually had it in here, but I took some of the stuff out because I had too much in it, but I got an email from Perry Brothers, and I didn't realize I'd gotten it, and it went in my junk folder.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't get stuff from them normally, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I went down with them late fall, probably November, Center Square, about all the
Okay.
headstones. They're gonna
Yeah.
give us a quote. Well, I had just done a rough count before they came, a few days before, a week before, whatever. And I was over 150 when I got done, but when they went through and did it, it was 169.
Okay,
And they've broken it down, and,
Yeah, you're probably gonna wanna divide that up, because you only put 30K on the warrant.
right, we'll put
Well-
30K in the warrant article, and we have some trees that gotta come down first, I think.
right. So what I was thinking was that, for the mapping of the East-West Cemetery, maybe I could see if we could present them and ask them for up to 25,000, because we know we've got 30
Right,
coming in.
Yeah, but isn't part of the Mildred Hall will to be like used for town of Ware and.
Well, that would be,
My personal opinion,
yeah.
Mary, it doesn't matter, is
No,
you're spending on 169 people, family, that they've
Yeah,
already contributed.
family,
to Visual care.
yeah.
That's the only thing I would be concerned.
yeah.
To me, yeah,
Well, just remember that we did the paving in South Ware.
Talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it, you
Yeah.
know, if you guys
But
want
that was,
to.
I guess,
We do have trees. for
I guess the
us to-
paving to
you-
me was, yeah, because it's everybody that's in there.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. All
Yeah,
right,
no, it's something.
And this is just the ones that are there now.
Right.
They're-
Center Square, that's
That's
not,
just Center
that's
Square.
not even all the other ones.
Yeah, so I was thinking if we could get this one done this year, maybe take a look at the next one that's the worst. My thought on it.
So the 169 was one cemetery?
169
Center
had
Square.
stones.
Oh,
They're either
Go,
big,
go East
Yeah.
Road, go
Yeah.
on the right.
a few of them are broken over to the point that they're not gonna be able to stand them back up and fix them. They're broken in pieces, so they propose to lift them out, dig down, put a bed of concrete down, and then lay the broken
headstone
pieces back
flat
in.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
So, yeah, so,
Crutch, but, purchasing policy, that's a lot of money.
But
Their own entity, right?
Yeah.
right,
But
yeah. I just
if we're
think,
gonna spend a cypre money though, that's a
well, you're
different
gonna
story.
spend probably
I'm afraid you're gonna have to put up a bid for the trees.
the trees.
Correct, oh yeah,
right.
exactly, so I mean, I'm just, don't wanna forget sight of that, that's all.
Yeah, no, so I'm just thinking that maybe we could, I mean, maybe they'll say no, I don't
Okay,
know,
yeah.
it hasn't been discussed.
Who knows? Yep, okay.
But if, you know, if you need 10,000, 15,000 for
That makes
trees.
sense.
Looking for a sexton. Well, because we're gonna have
So
3
lots of
burials
experience.
right off the bat, I know of.
He's right.
On the warrant was to have it come back here.
Yeah, so it was actually a
So
push.
now it has to.
We'd have to put another
back
article
if
back
you
and
want.
forth to
But
reestablish.
doesn't mean that the
Well-
sexton, I mean, we're still looking for a sexton.
Right.
yeah. But if
No, I was
somebody
just gonna-
volunteers or
I was
has,
just
we
gonna
have,
say, as a volunteer, as a cemetery trustee, I think I know someone else that might be happy to help. I don't wanna go probe for,
Well, there's no, yeah, but there's no trustee right now. Right
I
now,
think you'd have to change it back to going back.
which
out
is,
and
takes a
staggered
town vote,
terms.
which takes a town vote with staggered term.
but couldn't we take a volunteer and put them to work?
You could.
As
on
a
our-
sexton?
no.
No, not as a sexton,
Just
but
as a trustee.
as
There's-
the work that a trustee would normally do.
But trustee requires 2/3 or 2
Board vote and
Yeah.
2/3, and there's stuff that goes along with that, so.
Well,
That's all, there's stuff that goes along with it legally, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I answer the
if you're
phone
making
calls,
decisions.
I meet with the people, I
Yeah.
show them the maps, they go out for a walk, you guys probe for the graves. Get out, and then I let Dignified know that it's marked out, give them directions,
but,
they take care.
For the sexton then.
but that's a sexton,
Sexton is going to do what you guys would do, is go probe.
right.
And if the family wanted to go out on site, right now, I've taken 2 families out. Not recently, but before the snow I did.
So I thought that the trustees, maybe you look for improvement.
And we had the trustees keep it. We're there, and we're very familiar with
Heavy involvement.
what needed to be done.
Mhm.
Anymore. I guess the guys that mow the lawn could keep us informed, but they're really mowing and moving on.
Right.
There's 43 cemeteries to do.
Right.
Yeah, they gotta go.
No, but I'm just thinking that there's a lot, just to make sure that this stuff is gonna get done and done right, and, work on one some. I'm happy to volunteer, whatever.
Okay.
You just need to let me know one way or the other, that's all. Because I don't want to be over there encroaching on anybody's.
Anyone else? Okay.
We did receive an email regarding 137 Concord Stage Road. The,
Cutting. Wet out there.
well,
and
they
I've
said
already-
it's muddy, it's, the road's destroyed, they're bottoming and their vehicles out.
No, they're not, because I just went out there with my Honda Civic, which is 4 inches off. Said,
So, that was the complaint, so there's a timeline of, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
yeah, I'm guessing that they'll be moving their equipment out within the next week or so.
Okay. Okay.
But so you know, I did go out today and went all the way to their driveway and turned around in a Honda Civic, and I didn't bottom out at all,
Understood?
so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not to say that it wasn't, because our.
It's softening up, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're finishing up, that's what they're doing, they're pulling everything out, yeah.
About mud season, because
Yeah,
you add the weight, you add everything,
Yeah.
and it's,
Yeah.
we didn't really get to freeze.
Right.
no,
All right, I got nothing else, so,
There was another correspondence from the Pratts on the 20th,
okay.
stating that they understand the workshop was canceled for obvious reasons, but they were asking about building permits, variances, and said that they really didn't get an answer from to.
I can tell you, we received a letter from the other half's attorney,
Okay.
today's mail, came a letter. Not sure how to handle it, because brought in an argument that they don't need to get a permit. They never stopped building. They were on a cease and desist. I'm just paraphrasing, because I don't have the letter in front of me.
Mhm.
And that the project got started prior to the state case of the variance with Mr. Fulton. I'd be happy to scan it and send you the letter.
Okay.
Again, I don't know, as council, sure what we're, you know, our town council's been involved, each side has council. Now I get a letter from the other side. I need someone to tell me what to do. You know, no matter what happens, it's just frustrating, because you get one side from an attorney, you get our side from the attorney, and now you get a neighbor's attorney.
Mm-hmm.
I just, no matter which way we turn, it seems like, I don't know, I just,
Yeah.
I have asked, and I will have by the end of the week, how building permits work when they come in. And I've asked for everybody to let me know when one comes in, the process, thinking that could at least try to help.
Mm.
I can't go back and undo what was there. Can't go tell you, but I know that, you know, the permit got started a while ago. It started back under Chip's watch, that's been a while ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Romeo issued the cease and desist, so in between there, we had Chip, then we had, you know, Kyle came in, and then Kyle left, and we hired Romeo. So we've got 3 building inspectors involved in inspections. It just seems, it's complicated, I'm not denying that, it's
Oh, no, it's
complicated.
definitely, yeah.
I just come back, I got the email Tuesday, which I wasn't here Tuesday, and then I get a letter from the other side's attorney asking for some more information.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one or the other.
Yeah.
I'm lost. I don't know
Which way to go?
what you want me to do. I mean, it's a dry situation. I understand everyone's frustration. I put together a checklist, or not a checklist, I put together information I spent in the file. There's 4 and 5 copies of certain things, but I didn't throw them away because, you know, there was notes on it for Romeo, there was notes on it from Kelly, there was notes on it from Kyle, but they all had the same email, but everybody had their handwritten notes, I stapled it together. It wasn't a
Just to make sure it's,
to
yeah.
make sure it stayed together.
Right.
Just the file was things.
Mhm.
I mean, I'd be more than happy to send you the letter, I just, this one says I don't have to, this one says I have to. what do we do? Right? And we're here.
He's trying to put us in the middle.
Yeah, this was my question.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what, trying to get into the middle. Trying to get somebody in the middle, whether it's us or
Somebody.
the town, somebody.
I mean, I don't mind, I mean, the question, one of the questions they asked is the process.
Right.
So, I don't have a written process. I've asked the current people to get me what happens when something comes through the door. But like I said, you started out with Chip, you went to Kyle, you went to Romeo.
Mm-hmm.
So it
I
ain't
mean, we
necessarily
had-
a process.
May not be the same, and then, you know, you add Tony to the mix where you didn't have Tony, cause Chip was Tony,
Mhm.
and the building inspector, so dynamics have changed. I just, and at the time you had, he was doing assessing and she was doing building.
Mm-hmm.
We decided we, at the time, divided up, Mary Ann does assessing, Katie does building. So we've gone different ways that was together and then sorted out. So when a building permit comes in, I don't know what Chip used to do, he's not here.
Right.
I wasn't upstairs, I wasn't down here with him, Wendy and him had it pretty much handled. Then Kelly and Kyle left, which everybody does. Then I kinda got pushed into things. And then we had a hiring that we had to do, and at the time, the board hired two different people to do two different tasks. Then we hired Tony to do the zoning part of it, because we went to a part-time building inspector.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of things that have occurred, and I just
Changes.
way to turn.
I think a good starting point would be just what's our
It's still gonna be what might have been in 2017, 18, 19,
Right.
or 20, but this is what happens when someone gets
Today.
an application
Mhm.
today.
I think
And
that's
I would
right.
ask, and I've asked Tony for his involvement today. He's leaving March 6th, which brings me to another, do you wanna have an exit interview?
Yeah.
Before
I would
lose
like to.
top of that?
I'd like to.
Okay.
Mhm.
So there's a lot, I've already asked them, they're gonna get me one this week, I'll share it with you for Monday. I'll share it with you by the end of the week. Cause I just wanna know what happens when someone comes through the door.
Yeah.
Now, it's not gonna be a one capture all, cause everything is different.
Mhm.
But it's a start
Yeah.
as to what,
Yeah, but part of the process could be if it's not these set of standard things, then what do? You go to X, Y, or Z.
now we're
That's
gonna
it.
throw a wrinkle in it, cause X, Y, and Z's leaving.
Right.
Well,
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
the,
But I
the
mean,
position,
I just feel
the
like-
position is
And
responsibility.
I totally understand, it's just, I feel like, I get it, and then I come back to I come back to an email, and then I come back to a lawyer letter, two different parties,
Right.
you know? And I feel like I'm in the middle, which I am most of the time.
Well,
But I'll be happy to give you what I get from the downstairs office, and we can take it from there.
Hmm.
And I'll share you the email, the letter that came in today's mail.
Do you know, Naomi, how many permits they actually asked for, or
Are we talking building department, what are we talking? I mean, are you talking the situation that we're in?
yeah,
Not off the top of my head, I wasn't prepared.
yeah, no, I didn't know, because I thought, and I'm not an expert, but I thought that when you do a building permit, you apply for a certain thing. And only from what I've read through some of the stuff you've sent us, it sounds like, unless they went back and got a second building permit or a third,
See what happened then, I don't know. And it won't be what happened then, because you're talking to people.
yeah.
but regardless of that, it still doesn't answer your question about the actual request. Do they need the variance or not need the variance, or do they need a new permit or not need a new permit? Yeah. So that is independent of document. So,
In a variance, I mean, you could call here and you say, yeah, variance, and make that.
Right.
That's the thing with anybody.
Mhm.
You know, Tony gives advice and says, well, it's not allowed, but you can apply for a variance, and this is how you do it, and here's the process.
Right.
But I can't say, you have to come here a certain time, you know?
Yeah.
So what is the enforcement mechanism if somebody, just blank slate, everything,
Yeah.
like,
And that's when we're alerted to no building permit, or we've talked to that person and they just went about it. That's when Tony always went out for the visit
Mm-hmm.
and met with them and said, hey, we had a conversation, you were supposed to do this. So we don't,
says no, is it the town's to follow up.
The complaint can be ignored, the only mechanism we have is to spend money, to
And go to
get the
district
lawyer
court.
involved, to get a cease and desist, to get everything else to go to court and an injunction, kind of, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I
You
was
know,
getting at.
the frustrating part is because it takes time, it takes money when they don't want to follow it.
Right.
It's and I get frustration, I get,
Mhm.
you know, and it is what it is, but that's what we're dealing with. I don't have teeth without spending money.
Right.
And you go put in your ordinance that you find choice.
Feedback we've gotten from our own town council on this, like, are we,
I haven't done anything with,
I guess I don't mean this very latest from today.
Yeah.
Was, what is the latest we heard from town council? I don't remember off the top of my head.
I get 65 emails I
Yeah.
tried to plumb through. I mean, I don't have that answer for you, I apologize. I mean,
Well, then would it be worthwhile of talking to her? I'm assuming this is her that we're talking about.
Ken, I just,
I mean,
I
having a
tried
joint
to work
discussion
through
with
my
her.
emails
Yeah.
Sunday and today.
and when I say join, I mean us,
Mm-hmm.
not the parties, to
Right.
talk to her and say, okay,
Where
where are we, and what are our next steps?
What do we need to do here,
Yeah,
if anything?
yeah, it could be,
I
you
can
know,
gladly ask, because I think that's
Mhm.
where we, like,
Kinda where we're at now.
here.
Yeah, where are we? Or do we, here, and where are we here?
yeah, I mean, we may think we're in the
One-
middle,
one
but
step
we're really
back.
out on
Kinda
left field.
Take a
Yeah.
step
I think
back.
some of these, that's where we ought to be.
Yeah. We start to
over
involve
here.
ourselves when we shouldn't, type
A
thing.
lot of it seems like,
We feel like we need to engage, but we really shouldn't, right? Yeah,
I'm happy to that.
Okay.
I'll get that answer for you
okay,
and share it with you, and I'll show you the other
Yeah.
stuff that I got.
that's fine. All right, I think it brings us to the topic of discussion. A couple hours into it, but here we are, 10 o'clock. So,
I didn't know what article.
yeah,
Because
yeah, and who knows what's what, right? I mean, we know what they are. Can I see 23s? So I guess we want to start with 23 and move to 22. Does that sound reasonable?
I think so. And
Okay.
then, I know for some of them, the town administrator wasn't present for the actual meeting, which was then sealed.
Mhm.
So what I would propose is you open them up and see if it's something that
Yep, that's
I
fine.
would ask her to excuse.
Yep, that's fine. I can do that. The 23,
I don't know, that's too many of those.
23, 2023 has, what'd you say, 20 what of them? 24?
I think it was 20.
22. There's 22 of them in 2023. Yes.
This would be M. This is consideration of whether to disclose minutes of a non-public session due to a change in circumstances under paragraph 3. However, any vote on whether to disclose minutes shall take place in public session. So M is to consider.
So M is to open in non-public, consider.
We may choose,
Yeah,
We
so-
would come into public and say we're gonna release date
That's
1,
one,
2, and 3.
yep.
Okay.
And then.
But I
my
think you have,
question, And attach them, is that what we do?
I think,
Or how
I think
do
they I think they should be separate on those old dates.
So that's what
Aside
I'm
from,
trying to figure out. If
Yeah.
you unseal something that happened in January, say January 15th, you unseal. Attach it as the very last page and repost
I
them?
would leave the existing file alone and add a new one, and we did this for
add an
couple of
addendum.
weeks. Totally separate files, I don't remember what date you said, but January 15th,
Yeah.
non-public. So you'd have your regular, like, final
Mhm.
one, and then a new separate file,
underneath it, same date.
or even call it unsealed non-public.
And we can call it final because we're gonna approve it. Okay.
So there's, like, I have a park and rec one, I don't, you guys are involved with. It's on my list.
We should open it, it's not ours.
Yeah.
it's not
They,
ours.
they should open it.
Yeah.
They should obviously review it, but not us. If it's not Board of Selectmen, I don't, this, but it should be suggested to the other board
Do
to
the
open
same
it and review,
process.
yes,
Yeah.
correct. Is it only one?
You're gonna own the fire wards ones too.
Not right now, though,
He's not.
right?
You
But
are.
right now, we don't own them, so we can't open them tonight.
No.
Okay. As we go,
And you're
as you
gonna
guys go
find
back.
the one that you circled on the envelope has gotta be done tonight, because everything else.
So there's kind of your answer. I think.
So just to
The one
clarify,
that Ricky hand scratched on the envelope,
Yeah,
it's, I don't know.
Me too, I wrote on a ton of, yeah, I wrote on like almost.
yeah, that,
You wrote on,
yeah.
and then there's Park and Restaurant there, that's that.
This one is ours, because so is us. Okay, all right.
when we come out and we vote on these, we also have to say that we reviewed these and kept them under seal or whatever the correct terminology is,
decide
correct?
Yeah, I would say when we come out, we do two lists. We do, you know.
Reviewed and not
yeah,
released.
1, 2, and 3 we're gonna release. 4, 5, and 6 we are not.
Okay.
And who's gonna keep the list?
Huh?
Who's gonna keep the list?
It goes back to the town clerk?
No.
No,
Oh,
for
here.
this,
Oh,
okay.
Well, if you're, it's there, but it concerns me, you could do that another.
Well, it says right here too is a release date too, so we could actually, I could fill that in as I go, if we're gonna release
Yeah,
it.
because that's
Right.
what was
Yeah,
given.
so are we coming back out of non-public today to do that, or are we doing that at a future meeting?
I think,
Reggie's like, yeah, we're not staying till tomorrow.
No, Benji's almost done.
yeah.
so,
So we've got to,
Yeah, I mean, we're coming out regardless, so I think we come
Right.
out, knock them out, whichever ones we will have done today,
yeah.
we'll go ahead, not release the ones we know.
Yeah, I mean, if we get through 5, we get through 5. This is uncharted territory for us. That's, so if we do 5, we do 5.
Yeah, we're not gonna get through 22 of them.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Okay.
But if we get through 5, I'd be happy,
not unless we stay till 1.
We're not.
which I am not.
You will not have a quorum.
So, like, I went through these after we wrote our policy, so I went through, opened them up, taped them up, wrote my initials and a date on them. So we're gonna be opening these, and some of them we're gonna wanna put back together. Do we have
Tape.
Okay,
more new or something? Okay.
We can get some tape. Why don't we get some tape?
All right, you're gonna go into non-public.
Yeah, all right, so I'm gonna move, we go into non-public under RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 2M. Is there a second?
We're gonna come out, do the list publicly.
Okay, now let me.